seen them at work, and they care deeply about how they deliver your project in your home. They're very committed to that. That's why they work to employ 100 people plus that are their people. They're the lakeside people, because when you get lakeside work done in your home, people are going to know. People are going to be able to tell that the way this project was done was better than the rest. And the other thing is you're going to want to talk about this project. You're going to want to talk about the experience. I know that when you go to schedule some type of home renovation or extension or siding, James Hardy siding on your house, the idea of calling up a business and working with them to get something done sometimes can be a bit daunting. Lakeside takes the stress out of it, and they give you the peace of mind. Call them for your project today at 636-978-5000 and get the place that has the lifetime workmanship warranty behind their very, very fine work. Online at lakesiderenovationanddesign.com.
You can listen to 97.1 on radio.com through your smart speaker. It's information with perspective. Just ask it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on a Saturday, and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Sid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Were you aware that this photo was immediately sort of became the meme of the day?
Not at all. I was just sitting there trying to keep warm, trying to pay attention to what was going on.
That's the most Bernie Sanders answer that you could expect from a guy who's been made famous for sitting alone in his nice, comfy, warm coat and these very large knitted mittens. Again, I think it's important that we acknowledge this week that Bernie Sanders has really brought, in a really polarizing week, Bernie Sanders has brought us together on some granular, important level. I think it's worth identifying that. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Friday. I am excited to be here this Friday with you and to be able to continue through this afternoon of news as it continues to roll out. I think the biggest story from the last 24 hours here is these National Guard troops that were stuck in a parking garage to sleep. Man, people are not happy about this. And I want to preface how I'm going to react to this with the idea that there's what happened, which I don't know that we know 100% of what happened yet. There's the reaction to it. And then as we're going to end up having to do just by nature of being so close to last week when Donald Trump was still the president, if there was a garage full of troops, thousands of troops, I think it was 5,000 is the number that I read multiple times, of 5,000 troops under Donald Trump's watch, is there any question in your mind whatsoever who would have the blame, who would have the responsibility for the optics, the horrendous appearance of seeing these people who got kicked out of where they were staying inside before, I think mostly in the Senate, and stuck in this parking garage? They had a bathroom and an outlet and no internet. Now, it's interesting. In the context of what is going on, I do want to give a voice to a lot of the military, just, enlisted people who have spoken up on this that I've seen on Twitter, that, they're not like blue check Twitter people, but they're soldiers. They're people who have committed themselves to their country. And yes, they say that's not the worst place those people are going to sleep. Like, they're doing their job. They're there. I think Robert O'Neill, who is the man who shot bin Laden, was one of the people who said, I guarantee you that these individuals aren't in there whining and complaining about their accommodations. Like, that you don't get to be where they are if you're going to be the type of person who whines and complains about the accommodations. However, I think we still have a lot of questions as to why they are there in the first place. Texas, Florida, and I believe New Hampshire, all their governors have said we would like to have our National Guardsmen back now. Thank you. So they appear to be bringing those men and women back home. And, I don't blame them. What are they doing there? What was the purpose that they were serving? I guess their presence certainly did what it was supposed to do if it apprehended any sort of threat of any kind. But it is a terrible optic. I have not heard an explanation as to why this happened yet. And on top of it all, can you just imagine for a second if the Trump administration had to answer for this? Oh, please. Yeah. Like, that's the part of this that really gets under my skin. That we are going to see over and over and over again the complete and total discounting of responsibility for one administration. And you didn't even have to wake up and know what the actual problem was to know that it was Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump, assumes the blame and the responsibility. If it went wrong, Donald Trump. Katie, are they started with the press briefing?
They have. Mm-hmm.
Can we boot this up and listen in? So this is a White House press briefing. I want to listen into this and invite you to come watch us on the Facebook Live right now, facebook.com/Annie Frey Show, the YouTube Live, Annie Frey YouTube channel, and we will be there and chatting with you. But let's listen into this press briefing happening right now at the White House.
Hi. Good to see you. Thank you for taking questions today. I want to ask you about the call on Sunday with a bipartisan group of lawmakers. What can you tell us about the call? Will President Biden be on the call? And what is your message to moderate Republicans like Mitt Romney, who say the economy can't have another stimulus after you just passed a $900 billion relief package last month?
Yeah, thanks, Kristen. So the president has made clear to his team that we should be reaching out to members of Congress from both parties to make the case for the rescue plan and to engage with them, understand their concerns. So that's what we're doing. Both myself and senior members of the team. We have been doing that over the course of time. We'll continue to do that, including the call on Sunday that I'll be doing with a group of senators, and we'll continue that engagement going forward. In terms of the message, it's pretty clear. We're at a precarious moment for the virus and the economy. Without decisive action, we risk falling into a very serious economic hole, even more serious than the crisis we find ourselves in. And economists across the board, including today, President Trump's former chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, arguing strenuously that now is the time for that type of decisive action for the economy, and that we can't wait to provide the resources to make sure that we can open schools, we can get vaccine shots in people's arms, and we can provide that bridging relief to families and small businesses. There's a lot of support. I met with a group of mayors yesterday, bipartisan group of mayors from across the country. You hear from mayors, you hear from governors just crying out that in order to take on these crises, the public health and the pandemic and the economic crisis at the same time, now is the moment for that kind of decisive action. That's the case we'll be making.
And just to be clear, Brian, will President Biden be on the call? And if not, why not, if this is so urgent?
So, like I said, we're doing all outreach. The president has directed the team to do outreach to members of Congress, to business and labor organizations, to mayors and governors, and we're in the process of doing that. I'll be having that conversation on Sunday. You can expect that other members of the administration will be engaging with members of Congress across time as well.
And just very quickly, Brian, if I could, what would a February impeachment trial, how would a February impeachment trial impact getting the COVID relief package passed?
Look, I think that we are facing right now a period of multiple crises. And what we're going to need is to be able to act on multiple fronts. And so that's certainly, we understand, and as Jen has spoken to, we understand that the Senate has a constitutional obligation in this context. But we also have these pressing economic and pandemic priorities as well. So that's why we're engaging. That's why we're focused on making the case, and certainly with the expectation that Congress will heed that call and move forward.
I promised to do a whole briefing after this, so just we'll do econ questions for Brian. Go ahead. Thank you very much. If you are able to pass this nearly $2 trillion plan, do you envision this being the last round of stimulus, or do you think you may need to do more?
What I can tell you is if we don't act now, we will be in a much worse place, and we will find ourselves needing to do much more to dig out of a much deeper hole. So what I can tell you is the single most important thing economically right now is to take decisive action along the lines of what we've laid out in this rescue plan. And you hear, again, from economists across the board, whether it's the Federal Reserve, the International Monetary Fund, and economic experts across the political spectrum as well. When you're at a moment that is as precarious as the one we find ourselves in, the risk of doing too little, the risk of undershooting far outweighs the risk of doing too much. And that's the economic logic, the economic case behind this package. I think you've also heard the president clearly explain that his economic approach is one where rescue and recovery need to come together. And he'll be speaking more about his recovery plans in the coming weeks that are about building back better, an urgent priority to start creating the kinds of good jobs that we know we're going to need coming out of this crisis.
And after the recession, it took nearly a decade to get the country back to full employment under the Obama administration. If you're able to pass this rescue package, how long do you think it will take for every American who wants a job to be able to have one?
Well, I would just point to, just one example of an independent analysis that was done of the American Rescue Plan by Moody's. And what they said, what they found was that if we passed the American Rescue Plan now, we could see 7.5 million jobs created just this year. And we could see a return to full employment a full year ahead of what is projected if we don't. So those are the stakes involved. And without this kind of decisive action, we're going to have a much deeper economic hole. And that's why we are so focused on making the case for a decisive action now.
Thanks, Jen and Brian. I wanted to follow on Walter's question a little bit. The president's talked about seeking unity on this bill, but also being clear-eyed when there's policy differences. So I'm wondering if after this call, which is with sort of the bipartisan coalition that you'd need to get this bill passed, if you expect to know whether the White House will pursue legislation, bipartisan legislation, or sort of head towards legislation through reconciliation. And I'm also wondering if you could talk about what sort of red lines will be, the point at which you say, okay, if you're not willing to negotiate about this in the bill, we're going to just start working with Democrats as Speaker Pelosi and others have encouraged you to do.
Yeah. I guess I'd say two things to that. The first is if you look at the elements of the American Rescue Plan, it was designed with a bottom-up focus on what are experts saying is the actual need. What's the actual need to get schools open? What's the actual need to have a national vaccination distribution plan to underwrite the strategy that you heard Dr. Fauci and the president talk about yesterday? And what's the need to support families and businesses during this transition? And the second thing is that as a result of that, I think we're seeing a lot of support. As I said, bipartisan mayors, bipartisan governors, business organizations, Chamber of Commerce, Business Roundtable, economists across the board saying this is an appropriate response to an unprecedented economic circumstance. So that's the approach that we are taking, and that's the perspective that we are bringing here. And I think that we are heartened to see that kind of support. And that's the conversation that we're going to have with members of Congress, be they Republicans or Democrats, including, looking at where we are, where we've come over the last year and the lessons we've learned, that without decisive action, we know the consequences. And so now is a moment not to undershoot or to wait and see. Now is a moment to act.
I guess my question is, I think a lesson that a lot of President Obama and others have talked about in the ACA fight was continuing to court Republican support beyond a point of it being productive. And so I'm wondering for you guys, what is the decision point going to be where you might have Republican mayors, but it doesn't look like you have Republican senators right now. At what point do you say this is no longer worth kind of pushing forward?
We're making the case. We are engaging. We're having conversations. We're listening. And we are also focused on the urgency and the need to act. And so, what I can tell you is that's where the president's focus is. That's where the vice president's focus is. That'll continue to be our focus is we want to we want to engage and we want to act. And that's going to be what guides us here.
It's going to be the last one. But Brian will come back.
That's Brian Deese. He is the president's chief economic advisor.
So we've been listening to Brian Deese here, and he's talking a lot about the Biden administration's economic policies going forward. We're going to see an executive order by President Biden signed today on food stamps and minimum wage. We'll cover more of that as it happens. Hopefully you were able to listen in on that and hear what he's saying, and you weren't as distracted as we were by the Oz. Katie?
Oh my gosh.
Say one more time. Just do it.
I was getting a pit in my stomach of just like anger, like, please stop. I can't listen to anything you're saying.
Yeah, you can't it becomes so distracting. You're not like interested. It's one of those things where you just are hanging on for the next time he says it, which was before every phrase in each sentence that he said. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get some reaction to this. More on the news of the day. Want to encourage you to go to watch us on the Facebook Live. Take us back to work with you after lunch. Load up facebook.com/Andy Frey Show or the Andy Frey YouTube channel. I am on there right now, but I have my camera down because I had a major eye issue in the middle of that segment, and I'm redoing my makeup because it got very scary
Face
movie
melty.
looking for a second. I mean, I could have been in a heavy metal band. I could have been the lead killer in some like psychotic thriller, or I could have just have watery eyes and it got lost on me. So come tune in. You can see my updated face here in just a minute as well. Andy Frey Show returning in just a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Hey guys, Glover here. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the DGS.
When I visited with National Rarities, they're located in West County on the corner of Manchester and Mason, and I walked through their whole operation. It was really awesome to see the crazy, cool, and weird, and unique, and historical things that were just all over the place. This is stuff that they have purchased from people exactly like you. Your thing that was sitting in your attic or your basement or maybe hanging on a wall in a room you never go into in your house or something like that. And it's valuable, but you don't really want it. Sell it to National Rarities, GIA certified buyers, A+ rating with the BBB. These are people you can trust. This is not a pawn shop weirdo experience where you're going to feel like it's kind of icky. These are pros. These are experts. The other thing that I want to say about all of the amazingly crazy and weird stuff that National Rarities was buying, they also buy some pretty basic stuff too, like jewelry or broken jewelry or mismatched jewelry or the engagement ring or the wedding ring that you don't need anymore. Sell that and get some cash for it to people who are going to give you the value for it and people who you can trust. Reach out to them to schedule your appointment at 888-787-1112. That's 888-787-1112, nationalrarities.com.
As a patriot and a mechanic, I know the difference between a symbol and a tool. The American flag is a symbol of everything I'd die to defend. My mask is a tool. It says nothing about my politics. I wear it to protect the people I love from COVID-19. We have a job to do, and a mask is the right tool for that job. Use the tools. Mask up and keep your distance. Brought to you by the Coalition for Healthy Missouri Communities.
Ameren Missouri is building the future with a smart energy plan that advances thousands of projects across the state, including installing new composite poles to better withstand storms. That's energy at work. Learn more at amerenmissouri.com/plan.
2021 is here, and Zero Res wants to thank everyone, including new customers, with 21% off all services for the month of January. Call 314-474-2020 or book online at zeroresstl.com.
Coping 19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
Managing today's uncertainty can be overwhelming. We crave security, and it's uncomfortable when we sense a lack of control over our lives. Develop a routine for a more balanced lifestyle with healthy habits and fun. Focus on what you can control, even if it's little things, like a before bedtime ritual.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. I've been warning our clients that IRS employees are back at work since mid-July, and their collection efforts have ramped up. Well, sure enough, it looks like it's happening. So if you have unfiled tax returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Tax resolution plans are based off your current income. So if your current income is less than normal due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this is precisely the time for the Lance Drury Law Firm to help you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
With mortgage rates at historic lows and homes selling with multiple offers, why would you ever pay more than 4? I'm Christina Straight. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 441 all fours.
Straight Realty has sold over $250 million in the St. Louis area. No matter who you are, if saving money and commissions is important to you, then call me. Why pay more than 4? 314-441-4444. 314-441 all fours.
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
You're tuned into 97.1 FM Talk, and so is St. Louis. More and more people are tuning in every day for information with perspective. It's 97.1 FM Talk. 97.1 FM Talk.
Informer, you know, say that I miss me, I go blam. I keep on bum down. Take the man that say that I miss me, stop somewhere down the lane. I keep on bum down. Informer, you know, say that I miss me, I go blam. I keep on bum down. Take the man that say that I miss me, stop somewhere down the lane. I keep on bum down. Informer, you know, say that I miss me, I go blam. I keep on bum down.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Pleasure to be with you this Friday afternoon. I'm so happy to be able to tell you that it's Friday. I hope you're happy that it is Friday. I hope Friday means to you what Friday means to me. It's been a week. You know, like it feels, remember Donald Trump was the president at the beginning of this week? It feels like we are done with the first year of Joe Biden's term. Is that not the case? Oh, it's just been 48 hours. Crap. Oh, dang it. I was really banking on the idea that maybe we were further down the line than that, but we're not. And Jen Psaki is talking right now. We listened into that economic director expert. I can't remember what his exact title was, but we listened to him talk about some of the economic implementations that they're going to be doing. And we're going to go into Jen Psaki's press briefing when she starts taking questions and hear what they have to say. Ryan, have you been able to listen to any of the press briefings so far, and any judgment on how the Biden administration with Jen Psaki has been handling this situation as of this point in time?
You mean just the generally speaking, or any specific situation?
Just your reaction.
Oh, just I have thought that she's been given softballs so far. I mean, compared to the last administration, but we all knew that was going to happen. It's surprising to actually see it. You know, you knew that this was going to happen, but then when you hear questions like, what are the color schemes going to be of the Air Force One stuff? You're like, really? And then I didn't mind, you know, if they're going to lob softballs, that's not necessarily Jen Psaki's fault. But then for her to go, oh man, I'm so glad you asked that. That's a great question. No, actually, that's incorrect. That is not a good question at all.
Katie, what's your reaction so far? I mean, I know that I think you and I specifically, because we talk about this, we observe this as female communicators ourselves. And, we're taking in what we've learned with Kayleigh McEnany. I mean, you can think back to the days of Sean Spicer, but it's been a while. It's been a day since we've had a male in this position. It's I think it's probably the toughest job to perform in an administration. I mean, obviously the presidency is it's a very challenging job, but on the face of it, you're going into the fire every day. What do you think about so far Jen Psaki's performance as a representation of the administration, comparatively speaking to what we're used to?
I think she's articulate. I think that she is probably the right person for the job. I think she's done a good job so far. I'm ready to see. She's done a good. It's all relative, right? She's done a good job because it's only been 48 hours. I'm ready to see the pushback. I'm ready to see the back and forth. There are a lot of things that have happened already in Joe Biden's presidency that I have questions about. I feel like those questions are not being asked, therefore they're not being answered. And that's really the role of these press conferences. That's why we're all tuning in, because the rest of us have jobs and we have to carry on with our everyday lives.
But Katie, they've only been in office for 2 days. How long do they? Shouldn't this administration get some time to get their feet wet and get comfortable?
No. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
It's not how it worked for the last 4 years. That's
exactly.
for darn sure.
And I feel like, we don't have the time to read the book that Joe Biden put up yesterday whenever he was talking about his coronavirus relief package. So that's the job of these reporters in this press briefing. They're there to speak on behalf of us, and they get this time. They're privileged to have this time. So use it wisely. If we aren't able to read it because we're working and then we have to go home to our families and carry on with our everyday lives, this is why it's so important. So as I said, I think it's all relative. It's been 48 hours. I think she's done a good job, but I am ready for that back and forth. And I think we need it.
Any concern at all either too with the idea that this administration, this campaign, nobody asked them questions before they got elected. There's nothing to even follow up on.
Nothing.
So the hardball that you would expect to be played here. I mean, I'm a believer that these should always be somewhat contentious. Yes. Because if the media is doing their job, they got to be uprooting the things that maybe if they didn't do it, then the American public wouldn't know about it. Otherwise, what is the point of them? Katie, do you want to cue it up to the beginning of questions here for us and let me know when we're ready? I mean, honestly, if you're covering a campaign, your responsibility is to expose a campaign and their positions from every possible angle so that the American people have the most information to make a decision for themselves as to whether or not they want to support that particular campaign. And once they get into the White House, I mean, these executive orders, I mean, what is it? It's like almost 30 now executive orders that this president is signing. I'd like to know what's in them. And these reporters have that information at their fingertips. Their job is to read through and report on what is in there and challenge the administration. Whether they agree with it or not is completely out of the importance of their responsibility. They are supposed to ask tough questions of the administration to get truth to report to us. Let's listen into today's questioning here of Jen Psaki at the White House press briefing.
Kick us off. Thank you. I know this has been asked of you several times, but now that there is a impeachment trial imminent, does President Biden have a opinion on whether former President Trump should be convicted? And then secondly, with how this is going, you're now getting a little bit of momentum on confirmations. You have all that you need to get going on coronavirus, on the economy, and so forth. Is this just going to slow everything down? And does it also take away from the ability to unify?
Well, first, remarkably, at this moment in history, we have some recent precedent of the Senate conducting an impeachment trial while also doing the business of the American people. And when the trial was being conducted last January, there were also hearings that were happening nearly on a daily basis, and we expect that type of work to continue. I'll also note purely on an operational level, the House can also proceed and continue to do the work on the American Rescue Plan, move that forward, and we certainly expect and hope that they will do that. But what the president's view is what cannot be delayed through this process is his proposal to get relief to the American people at this time of crisis. So he's confident, he remains confident after serving decades in the Senate that the Senate, members of both parties can walk and chew gum at the same time and can move forward with the business of the American people.
Does he believe that former President Trump should be convicted?
Well, he's no longer in the Senate, and he believes that it's up to the Senate and Congress to determine how they will hold the former president accountable and what the mechanics and timeline of that process will be.
Just at DVE, if you don't mind, are the tools and methods available to federal law enforcement? Are they what we need right now? Are we still stuck in sort of a post 9/11 mindset? And does there need to be really broad, radical rethinking about how we sort of approach things in the federal law enforcement?
Well, the reason that the president wanted to do this review and the national security team wanted to do this review is because it's a priority to ensure we are assessing what is happening in government and how we can do it better. So clearly more needs to be done. That's why the president is tasking the national security team to do exactly this review on his second full day in office. So it's sending an indication of that. Let me just give you just a little bit more information. Homeland Security Advisor Dr. Liz Sherwood-Randall has asked Joshua Geltzer to pioneer a scoping effort in the first 100 days in coordination with the Senior Director for Counterterrorism, Claire Linkins. Geltzer previously served as the Senior Director for Counterterrorism on the National Security Council from 2015 through 2017. And Deputy Homeland Security Advisor Russ Travers will also bring his extensive experience. So those are some of the people who will be involved in overseeing this review and an assessment of what the steps are going to be following. Go ahead, Kristen.
Thanks, Jen. One on impeachment, and then if I could on COVID. On impeachment, did House Speaker Nancy Pelosi consult with President Biden before sending the article of impeachment over to the Senate?
I don't have any calls between them to read out for you, Kristen. Obviously, they're in regular touch. I can say from a previous question you asked Brian that he's been in touch with members of both parties about his agenda even since he was inaugurated. So obviously a range of topics come up in those discussions, but I don't have anything more to read out for you.
On the timing, Leader McConnell has said that he's going to push for a February timeline. I know that you don't want to comment specifically on the timeline of this, but how would a February trial impact the effort to get COVID relief passed?
Well, the president's expectation, he believes in the Senate and their ability to multitask and get the work and business of the American people done at the same time while they're proceeding with an impeachment trial on whatever timeline it begins and ends on, Kristen. So he's come.
Is mid-February fast enough?
He's going to leave the timeline up to them. But what is important, and again, there's precedent for this, is that they are continuing to move forward with getting the relief to the American people, because that certainly can't wait and be delayed until March, April, or May. We can't afford that.
If I could follow up with you on what you said about COVID yesterday. You said your goal is 1 million shots per day, which would double, you said, what the Trump administration was doing. According to the CDC, we have reached 1 million shots a day last week. So given the urgent need for vaccinations, why not aim higher?
Well, first of all, we're not packing up our bags and leaving at 100 days. We felt it was important, and we set that goal before any American had received a single shot. So the incoming Biden administration felt it was important to set what was described as a bold and ambitious goal at the time, and many doubted we could even get there. So we want to set our own markers and markers for the American public so that they know we're meeting our goal. If we surpass that, that's great. We're going to continue working after day 100 as well. But there are a number of factors here Dr. Fauci also talked about. It's not just having the access to the vaccine, right? It is about addressing vaccine hesitancy. It's about ensuring we have the materials needed. It's about, and you all have done reporting, of course, on different issues going on in states from New York and others where there are concerns about supply, where there's confusion about the process, and we need to address that. So there are a number of operational challenges that are happening at the same time. Okay, let's go Ed.
Yeah, following up on the vaccine. stakeholders we've talked to, state leaders, medical experts, have said one of the questions that they're trying to figure out is how much vaccine is actually in the national stockpile right now. Do you have any sense of that yet?
Our team, as you know, has been on the ground for about 48 hours, but certainly what they want to determine is not just the operational issues I referenced, but also what we're looking at in terms of supply. We are, as you may know, we are going to be starting briefings next week, I should say, a couple times a week with some of our health experts. So I expect they'll be able to provide some update of what they've reviewed and what they have access to at that point in time.
Two other quick ones on the previous occupant. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff is calling on President Biden not to extend the courtesy to President Trump of getting access to intelligence briefings. Has a decision been made on that?
Not that I'm aware of, but I'll follow up with our national security team and see. We would certainly leave the decision to them, to the intelligence community.
Clear up the confusion here about who exactly dismissed the chief White House usher.
Well, it
Was
happened.
it the Biden administration, or was it the previous occupant?
It is a very important question. I'm so happy you asked it. It happened before we walked in the door, Ed, so I don't have any more information than what we've provided. Go ahead.
Not to belabor this point, but you said that Congress can walk and chew gum at the same time, which is true. But there are also so many hours in the day. Has the president expressed any concern that a Senate trial will slow down additional confirmations or movement on a COVID relief bill?
Only that it cannot. There are only so many hours in the day, you're right. But again, if there's a Senate trial happening in the Senate, of course it would happen in the Senate, the House can move forward on a package. And certainly there is capacity and ability to have discussions, have hearings, take steps to move forward on the president's COVID relief package. And we don't think it can be delayed or it can wait. So they're going to have to find a path forward. He's confident they can do that.
And President Biden has made pretty clear that he believes former President Trump is unfit to serve. Does he think he should be barred from holding federal office going forward?
Well, we'll leave it to Congress. He ran against him because he thought he was unfit to serve, and he's no longer here because President Biden beat him. But we'll leave the steps, the accountability steps to Congress to determine.
Just two COVID questions. Any update as to whether the president may sit down with congressional leaders to discuss and try and hammer out this package?
Sure. Well, I will say, without giving you specifics necessarily, but which I know you're looking for, so I shouldn't have just walked myself into that rabbit hole. But right. But the president has already done a number of calls with Democrats and Republicans. That will continue. He's very eager to be closely involved, roll up his sleeves and be making calls himself. I don't soon, but I don't have an update on any meeting. I will, though, just add, just for context, I know the reporting, thanks to your reporting, I suppose, about the meeting this weekend kind of got out there, and obviously Brian confirmed it. There are a lot of meetings happening at one time with a lot of different officials. So I wouldn't see that as like, this is the negotiating tool. That is one of many engagements and one of many discussions that the president, the vice president, senior members of the White House team are having and are ongoing.
And as outlined right now, is he confident that you have enough Democrats on board with this plan to pass this?
Well, he announced the plan about a week ago, right? His view is that this is how democracy should work, which is the president of the United States announces what his vision is and what his proposed plan is to address the crises the American people are facing. Then there are ongoing discussions with Congress. They like some pieces, they don't like other pieces. You all have seen Democrats like many pieces, Republicans even like some of the pieces too. And he's had those encouraging conversations. But the final package may not look exactly like the package that he proposed. That's okay. That's how the legislative process should work. Go ahead, Justin.
Thanks. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I had a question on COVID, but I wanted to start with just some housekeeping from questions you had earlier in the week that you might circle back on.
Okay.
So I was wondering if
the plane.
Sure, we can start there.
I was okay. On the plane, we are certainly aware of the White House military units proposal that has been submitted to them about reconsidering the color scheme of Air Force One. I can confirm for you here, the president has not spent a moment thinking about the color scheme of Air Force One or anything in the House or any article of anything. And no one is going to submit a decision memo to him on that particular topic. But certainly we're aware of the proposal, and as there are any updates, we're happy to provide them to you.
Maybe a little more substantively, I was wondering, you mentioned syringes yesterday, but not if you were, or not specific companies that might have had DPA contracts either started or come in, and then also DC statehood was an issue that was raised in a previous briefing.
Sure. Well, on the first, I don't have specific companies for you. I can circle back with our COVID team and see if we have more specifics. Obviously, those conversations are happening as we speak. There was a question yesterday about whether the Defense Production Act had been invoked. It has been invoked. So those processes are now rapidly ongoing. The president has supported DC statehood in the past. That certainly remains his position, but I don't have anything for you on the timeline or next steps there. Oh, go ahead.
Just the COVID one quickly. A kind of trademark of the last administration's efforts were that there would be a big announcement like Jared Kushner's testing website, and then no timeline put on it, and it never really materialized. So I was interested when the chief of staff last night said that there would be a central clearinghouse for vaccine information, and I was wondering if you could provide a sort of expectation or a timeline on what Americans could expect, if there's a .gov email address or .gov website or a phone number that they could go to find out their specific vaccination information.
Well, I know all members of my family are also asking the same question, as I'm sure yours are. It is something we're eager to do and also provide more information to the American public about when they can call their pharmacy and schedule an appointment, just to make it much easier. The lack of information and the disinformation at times about how people can get the vaccine, when they can get the vaccine, who's eligible, has created a great deal of confusion. As you all know, I don't have anything on the timeline, but I will remind you that the person who saved healthcare.gov and the person who helped him are working on the COVID team. So we're in very good hands, and they're certainly committed to getting more information out in a more accessible way.
Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, taking questions. And I have to say, in fairness, I think that these questions today, not all of them, but on the whole, I thought that they were C+, B level questions. They started to push a little bit more, certainly more than they have been in the last couple of days, and pressing her to answer some of the questions that she was dodging with previous answers. Probably a long way to go, but I think it's better. And I'd also say that she's avoided a lot of answers to questions that were posed to her. And you could probably ask any administration, if a press secretary can get away with it, then that's a good press secretary. Let's get some reaction to this when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for a few moments before the top of the hour. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here in just a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLhonorflight.org. And for free HVAC estimates, visit aircomfortservice.com.
You know the smell of fresh carpet in a house? That is a special, it's kind of like a new car smell. I don't know that it's if you can replicate it. Replicatable. Yeah, I think that's a word. I love fresh carpet. I love the feel of being able to crawl down on the floor and sit with the kids and play Uno, or to, walk on new hardwood floors and just feel the luxury behind the beautiful landscape that you can put into your home and transform it. You can do that with Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can get the quality that you expect for your home, but you can get it with a value that you're not going to find elsewhere. Reach out to Michael's Flooring Outlet in any of their locations. They're in Darden Prairie, they're in West County, they're also in St. Charles County, and ask them to help you find the solution for your home, because they're experts at that. They're not people who are working in a department of a bigger store and they get put in paint one time, lumber the next, and flooring when they meet you. These are flooring experts. You can ask them about their Smart Strand Silk Reserve, or their Smart Strand Forever Clean, or their Aero flooring, or their Ultra Stand flooring, or anything else they have deals on right now. They are going to set you up with the perfect fit, with the best customer service and the best value. Online at michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Have you heard about Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis? He's buying houses for cash. Call Chris today at 314-782-7000. Chris will buy your house for cash and pay you cash up front. Chris will buy houses in any price range and any location in St. Louis Metro. Do you own a house that needs thousands of dollars in repair? Great, because he loves fixing up houses. Do you have a tenant living on your property? Not a problem. Chris will buy your house with a tenant in it. Do you think your property will be difficult to sell? Easy. Chris will provide assistance for any situation. Do you want the best price for your house? Done. He'll beat any offer you have on the table. Remember, if you need cash fast, Chris will pay you cash up front. Call Chris today at 314-782-7000. 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
Home warranty. I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call? Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visits your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all the work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 97.1 for $100 off. Upkeepstl.com. Type in 97.1 to get $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331. Ask about their free maintenance minutes. Keep up your home with Upkeep.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When the forgotten poor are in need of healing, they wait for a ship unlike any other. Mercy Ships, a floating hospital staffed by volunteers, heroes of mercy who donate their time to save lives.
Every human has the right to have a place at the table of the human race.
If you could just see the smiles that you get when lives have been changed, then it would make it all worth it.
To learn more about Heroes of Mercy, go to mercyships.org.
For everything that's happening, with analysis that's free and fair. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Don't miss a minute. Download the radio.com app or stream the station live anytime through your smart speaker.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. What do you guys think so far? And I know we're talking with people on our Facebook Live and the YouTube Live as that was going on, as we were listening to Jen Psaki's press briefing. And I said that I think that the questions were a little bit more difficult and pressing, and they followed up on questions that she would take the pitch on a bit regularly. I think that they were a little bit more aggressive. There were some softballs in there, but Kayleigh McEnany didn't get softballs because there's nobody in the room to ask her softballs.
No,
because the entire media hated her. We're keeping our eye on Peter Doocy with Fox News for when he gets to ask a question. Katie, your reaction real quick before we get to a break again here.
I think that this was much better than yesterday. I think this was much, much better than yesterday. I'm happy that we're getting some tougher questions, especially from CNN. After the debacle with Dr. Fauci yesterday, whenever they were saying that the Trump administration, now the Biden administration is starting from scratch with the vaccines, and Dr. Fauci had to push back on CNN and their reporting.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that today they're coming prepared with tougher questions that are informative, accurate, and things that we need to know about. I think
really
it's impressive.
Yeah, and really, pressing the issue of where's Biden's position on the impeachment trial that's going to be
Yes.
coming up. We know that Chuck Schumer said that Nancy Pelosi will deliver article of impeachment to Senate on Monday. That's a Fox News breaking news alert that I have from earlier today. What about you, Ryan? What do you think about what you've heard so far from this press briefing?
Well, it's certainly a lot of pressure because you're the new administration, big platform, but I just don't think that any Democrat press secretary is going to be forged in the same fire the Republicans press secretary has been. I mean, Sarah Sanders and Kayleigh McEnany were like American gladiators out there. They had to fend off every tennis ball that was being shot at them every single day. And they knew going in that was going to happen. I don't know that Jen Psaki did know that was going to happen. So I hope that continues to amplify even more as we go on.
So we're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, I'm excited to speak with Representative Darren LaHood. He represents the 18th Congressional District of Illinois, and we're going to talk to him about the athletes in the state of Illinois. This is a really big deal. There are athletes that are not being able to play when in Missouri, there are people playing. In Indiana, there are people playing. All around Illinois, people are playing, but the kids in Illinois are not being allowed to. There was another suicide of a high school athlete earlier this week. I think the funeral was earlier this week. It is a tragedy to hear what these students are going through. We hear this administration talking about getting kids back in school. We have got to get them back on the court. We have got to get them back on the field as well. And Representative LaHood is going to talk to that about us in here in just a minute. So stick around.
You've heard Tom Shane on the radio, but have you actually visited Shane Company? If you're looking for a unique engagement ring that reflects your personal style, come see us. Not only do we have all the classics, but our in-house design team is constantly introducing beautiful new styles. For your center stone, you'll find all the traditional diamond shapes, as well as the trending shapes like oval, cushion, and princess cut. Another way to make the ring uniquely yours is to choose a colorful, natural center stone. We're known for our vivid rubies and sapphires. Our sapphires come in over a dozen colors, like peach, lavender, and ice blue. Visit our store or go online where you can create and virtually try on any ring. With the largest selection of ring settings and loose stones, unlimited combinations and looks, at Shane Company, you can get your ring your way. We'll protect it for life, for free, and keep it sparkling like the day you said yes.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business, Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Picking the person who's going to help usher you into retirement, who's going to make sure that your savings, that everything you've prepared for those decades that you're going to spend not at work and doing the things that you love or spending time with the people who you love. This is an important decision because it's a make or break decision. That's why I want to encourage you to give Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group a call. This is a man who you can trust. He is a kind person and he is whip smart when it comes to protecting your retirement, moving you away from all of the saving and accumulation of assets that you have been involved in to a different mindset. It's just a different way to prepare for your retirement. That preservation mode that you need to be in. He is the expert. He is known for being an expert nationwide. He's got a book he's going to give you called Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. When you set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review, reach out to him today to set this up at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494 or visit him online at retirementkey.com.
Menards has everything you need to make your home a better place to live. Save big money on all the top name brand products you know and love, like Tide and Era laundry detergent, Bounty paper towels, Swiffer dusters, Charmin bath tissue, and more. A 96-load bottle of Era liquid laundry detergent is just $7.99 now at Menards. Prices are good until January 31st.
Save big money at Menards.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
A precarious moment. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's how the top economic advisor to President Biden describes the state of the economy still in the depths of the pandemic. He says decisive action is needed as soon as possible to avoid a deeper economic hole. But the timing of another stimulus package is uncertain. So the president is about to sign more COVID-related orders, just outlined by the head of the National Economic Council. Fox's Gernal Scott has more live.
Lisa, Brian D. says 2 actions will be signed by the president today. One aimed at increasing food stamp and supplemental assistance benefits.
The president will ask the Department of Agriculture to consider taking immediate steps to provide nutrition assistance to hard-hit families.
The second action has federal jobs and workers on the president's mind.
Requiring federal contractors to pay at least a $15 minimum wage and provide emergency paid leave to workers.
D says these actions that the president hopes continue Congress will work with the president on it, but orders could be signed on them later. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. At that same briefing, White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki getting questions about the impeachment trial now expected to begin next week. She says the president remains confident the Senate can walk and chew gum at the same time. Ominous news from across the pond on a new strain of COVID.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and health officials revealed some evidence indicates the so-called UK variant of COVID-19 is deadlier than the original version by as much as 40%. They say, for example, in a group of 60-year-olds, 10 people might be expected to die out of 1,000 with the old strain. 13 to 14 could die from the new strain. They note more work needs to be done on this. It has been known the new variant is more contagious, but it's not thought to have been more dangerous. This is new information.
Fox's Greg Palcott in London. It's also one of the strains circulating in the U.S. America is listening to Fox News.
I hired Nuptial Num-Nums to cater my wedding, and it was a disaster. Everyone was raving about the food instead of my dress.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
They're like, oh, Veronica, the lamb chops. Did the lamb chops fly you out to Cancun?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
I will not be hiring them for my next wedding.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine with us on this Friday. A couple of passing clouds. 38, 39 for most of us. The city about 42. Tonight clear and very cold. 18 degrees. Saturday's dry. 38. Sunday clouds. It's going to be a couple of showers. 45 degrees will do it for the high on Sunday, but also a lot of dry time. We're wet Sunday night, Monday into Monday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hello, everybody. This is Sean Rimmerman, your host of We're Having a Senior Moment every Saturday at 7 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk. I also have this company, We're Comfort Care Home Care St. Louis, and we help people live their best lives possible. If you're struggling caring for a senior, if you're a senior who needs some care, give us a call at 314-965-9600 anytime, day or night. Again, 314-965-9600.
It's time for the curtain to rise again. The Stages St. Louis 2021 season kicks off at the new Kirkwood Performing Arts Center on May 28th with the biggest hit in Stages history, always Patsy Cline. followed by the classic A Chorus Line, and closing with the smash hit Jersey Boys. New subscriptions for our 35th anniversary season are on sale beginning January 11th at stagesstlewis.org. Purchase yours today.
What if I told you that the Monsheen team has a line of buyers waiting to buy your house, and that the houses that they get to list, people who reach out to the Monsheen team, they often sell their home before they ever even have to make listing at or above asking price. If you have considered selling your home, if you have considered, taking advantage of the crazy low interest rates and the super on fire hot real estate market right now, you need the Monsheen team, the personal attention to detail that you are going to get, every single one of you that calls the Monsheen team today at 636-537-8288 to start this conversation. You are going to get treated like royalty. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you call. Tell them Annie said, hey, I heard you're selling houses at or above asking price, without even having to list a lot of them, and you are going to get the royal treatment, because that's the way the Monsheen team works with everybody who works with them. They treat you like family. Christy and JT have over 60 years of experience together in real estate. They are the #1 agents for Berkshire Hathaway Alliance Real Estate. Since 2005, they have proven success over and over and over again. And when you need that attention to detail, not to be the next listing in a whole host of listings for some company that does this en masse, you need the Monsheen team. You'll thank me later. 636-537-8288. Call them today. Tell them Andy said hello. TheMonsheenTeam.com.
I'm listening daily. You are not alone. During these challenging times, listening is fundamental to promoting understanding and healing. Here's licensed therapist Dr. Bhuvana Rao on ending the stigma of talking about mental health.
I think in our society, we have focused so much on, the physical well-being. It's a very image-focused society. And so if there are things that people are experiencing that have to do with mental illness, then those are typically stigmatized. Our society has tended to stigmatize mental health issues in general. So this is something that we really want to emphasize and encourage in the field of behavioral health. There should be no shame in talking about how you're feeling. Your emotional wellness is as, if not more, important than your physical well-being.
Talk has the power to save lives, and you are not alone. Find out more at imlistening.org.
Facts presented fairly. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Stream the station anytime at 971talk.com or download the app for your phone at radio.com. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not married sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's a pleasure to be with you today. We have listened to Jen Psaki's press briefing and talked a little bit about that in the first hour. If you missed it, you can go back and listen to it on the radio.com app, where you just find 97.1 FM Talk. Click the little heart next to it, favorite it, and you can go listen to our show anytime it's live. You can rewind it. You can also subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcasts. One of the issues here, certainly in the St. Louis Metro East, that I know has been near and dear to many people's hearts is athletics. Obviously, getting kids back in school is a huge deal around here. We have some kids who are in school. We have some kids who are not in school. I have to say, I've been so grateful this year for a parochial school option for my children, as they've been in the classroom every day this school year. And it is a night and day difference based on how the second semester of last year went when we didn't know as much about coronavirus. Getting kids back in school is very important, but we are also seeing the importance of getting athletes back on the field and on the court. And I want to welcome our next guest on. Congressman Darren LaHood joins us now, representing the 18th Congressional District of Illinois, has called on the governor to lift these restrictions on our youth and on our high school athletes. Congressman, it is a pleasure to have you on the Annie Frey Show. Thank you so much for the time today.
Well, Annie, thank you. It's great to be with you and your listeners today.
So I have to ask you, what motivated you to take this extra step and speak on this issue? What have you identified with these athletes who are being kept from their court, their field, their practice? Why do these kids need to get back in school? Why is that important to you?
Well, Annie, it's vitally important that we get our kids back playing sports in the state of Illinois. And what's frustrating is my congressional district that I represent, it borders Iowa and Missouri. And I look right across the river, whether it's in Hannibal, Missouri, or whether it's in Iowa, and I see kids playing sports. My wife and I are fortunate to have 3 teenage boys that play sports, and my wife was an athlete, and I played high school sports. Sports are so important to kids, and what is just terrible this year is our governor has refused to let kids play sports in the state of Illinois. 45 other states are now playing basketball or about ready to play basketball. Illinois still is not. So I wrote a letter this week to the governor, and I stressed to him the importance of sports for kids' competitiveness, for their physical well-being, for the mental aspect. Unfortunately, Annie, we've had some tragic suicides across the state of Illinois over the past 6 or 7 months here with kids not playing sports. And I will just say this, 1 year to an adult, we can get through that. But 1 year to a sophomore or junior or senior is an eternity. And we're crushing the dreams of these kids. And that's why we need to have sports open back up. And so I wrote a pretty strong letter expressing my frustration to the governor. And I got a lot of support from coaches and athletic directors and parents and families all over the state of Illinois.
Yeah, I have to say here in Southern Illinois, I'm located on the east side of where I live and where I send my children to school or my husband teaches. We're seeing such a drastic difference. Like you said, we border Missouri. These kids, they're playing in Missouri. They figured out leagues to go play elsewhere. And I just can't imagine that the west side of Missouri, of the Mississippi River, is any less or more dangerous from coronavirus to these students than it is in the state of Illinois. What is the science behind the governor's mandate, the IHSA's decision so far to go along with this? What are they basing this off of?
Well, that's a great question. And the frustrating part is they won't reveal that. They have not revealed that. And that just leaves people that are, listen, we have smart, bright people in our schools, whether they're superintendents, whether they're athletic directors, whether they're coaches. These are responsible people. To your point, Annie, I represent Quincy, Illinois. What's different from Quincy, Illinois than driving across the river to Hannibal, Missouri? There's absolutely nothing. And let's face it, what sports basketball is going to be done differently. We're not going to pack the gymnasiums, but we can do it in a responsible way, a proactive way. We're going to exercise, social distancing when it comes to fans. To your point, Annie, that you look at the transmission rates for coronavirus for kids, it's virtually nil in all these states. How can 40 to 45 other states be doing it and not the state of Illinois? We haven't gotten a good answer. The governor continues to sit up in Chicago and not come downstate to answer these questions. And again, this is a boiling point for many of us in downstate Illinois. And by the way, this transcends politics. This is about kids. This is about our future. This is about, the tragic aspects of what not having sports has done to our youth.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. We're speaking with Congressman Darren LaHood in the 18th Congressional District of Illinois. I look at some of the universities that have played. I think, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, I remember a Northwestern game being played in state. I think the University of Illinois has maybe conducted some games in state. You would think that the younger you are, from what we've heard from, science, the younger you are, the less effective that coronavirus is going to be to you. We haven't had any catastrophic instances in the sports world where coronavirus has really taken a hold of these youth athletes. strange to me that these, public universities are able to take the court or the field and play, and our high school students aren't, especially with the outrage that I'm hearing from so many voters and taxpayers and parents and kids themselves who are speaking up saying, please just let us play.
Yeah, to your point, Annie, yes, all of the Division I and Division II and some Division III colleges in Illinois are participating in sports. They're having basketball. University of Illinois is, Northwestern is, Northern Illinois, Southern Illinois, Western Illinois. They're all doing it. And that's the frustrating part. The other point too, Annie, is kids or families that have some resources, what are they doing? They're sending their kids out of state. They're going to school in Iowa or Missouri, Indiana. Or they're playing on travel teams that play out of state. The kids that are hurt the most are the kids that need mentoring, that need coaching. These are the underprivileged kids that can't afford to be on a travel team or go move out of state. They're the ones that are affected the most. But again, that seems to fall on deaf ears to our governor and the Illinois Department of Public Health. And again, that's why we wrote this strong letter. The High School Association is meeting on January 27th to address this. They want to open back up. But again, the governor is the one that's been stopping this.
So regarding the IHSA, that meeting that you just mentioned there, is there something that parents right now can do, or that students or anybody can do right now to influence or make sure people are informed about where they stand on this issue? Some action that people can take?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social media is probably the best way to do that, but obviously the IHSA has a website. They're active on Facebook and Twitter and social media. I can just tell you this, our letter that we generated to the governor yesterday, which you can find on our social media page, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or other platforms, I mean, it's gone viral. I mean, we have, again, people that are forwarding that and getting the word out there. And again, we hope that makes a difference. The IHSA is actually based in my district in Bloomington, Illinois. I've talked to them. They're waiting for guidance on the Illinois Department of Public Health and the governor. So listen, I want the governor to make the right decision here. We believe the evidence dictates that. Every other state is doing it. And that's the perplexing part, Annie, is when you look to other states that are doing this in a responsible way, exercising all the precautions that you need to, why can't Illinois to do that? Do you not have enough faith in the people that are responsible for our kids in schools to do that? It defies common sense.
Congressman Darren LaHood, 18th District of Illinois, on the phone with us. Congressman, you're leading the charge on this with sports in particular. Have you been looking at, since you're a representative in the Illinois House, have you been looking at even the legality that the governor can accomplish these things? I mean, is that an avenue to take to try to stop this from happening?
Well, yeah, I serve in the U.S. Congress and not in the Illinois House. However, I did in a prior life serve in the Illinois legislature. To your question, listen, I'm a recovering lawyer, but I spent 10 years as a state and federal prosecutor, and I have followed all of the legal cases that have been filed all over the state of Illinois. Unfortunately, we have not had the proper outcome that we've wanted in these legal cases. In federal court and state court, judges have sided with the governor and his ability, because of the health pandemic, to use his powers to do that. That is extremely frustrating. And I've been very vocal on that, and a lot of others have done that. But there has been guidance and threshold put out there for the governor to follow, and we believe he is not properly following that. So I anticipate there'll be more legal cases coming down the pike.
Congressman, regarding, just so that everybody is clear here, you've written this letter to Governor J.B. Pritzker to lift the restrictions on youth and high school athletics, to let them play. Everybody else around us right now is playing. Illinois students, our Illinois kids, are not playing right now because of whose decision? Is it Governor Pritzker's mandate that's holding this up? Is it IDPH? Is it the IHSA? Who makes the decision here that decides whether our kids are back on the field or whether they're still sitting in their basements doing Zoom meetings and missing out on this experience?
Well, it's the governor that decides that. The Illinois Department of Public Health is his agency. It's his people in charge. He's got physicians and doctors and public health people there making those decisions. So it is his decision to do that along with them. Again, we have laid out in our letter, the predicate information there that allows him to open up. And again, we've asked for the evidence to show that there are health risks or that there are transmission rates that we're not aware of. We have not seen that. Again, and this applies in the city of Chicago, the suburbs, and of course in downstate Illinois. So we think we make a good argument. And again, I have told my athletic directors and superintendents and families to talk to the governor about this. So we're optimistic on January 27th with my letter and a lot of other input that they'll make the right decision.
Well, I have to say, as a former four-sport athlete in Illinois, as an IHSA athlete, my family is full of officials, people who referee football, volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, and just the tax that this is taking on so many people right now, and these students who are having to cope in a way that they are really honestly too young to deal with something like this being taken away from them without the science to back it up. I'm very, very grateful. And to you, Congressman, I've had so many people send me your letter. So thank you for bringing this conversation to the forefront so that we can speak with you and so that other people can see that there is representation out there right now willing to speak up and hopefully do something that's going to benefit our kids. It is so very necessary, and we're grateful for you for that.
Well, thank you for that, Annie. And sports is such a huge part of our kids' lives, and it means so much for them to compete and be active. And, you know, some of these kids, whether you name your sport, Annie, they have worked for years and years and years to get to this point. And again, you're crushing their dreams by not allowing them to play, particularly when other states are doing it. There is time left. We still can have a basketball season. We hope this change happens, and we're going to keep pushing forward.
Yeah, folks, if this is a passion for you, get on social media and make some noise, be respectful, and we'll share this article this letter that you wrote and make sure that people are connected with it. Congressman LaHood, thank you so much for the time today. We're very grateful for it.
Thanks, Annie. Have a great weekend. Take care.
You as well. Thank you so much. It was very exciting to see the level of which this conversation is being elevated with a United States congressman talking about this. And I have to tell you, I mean, the Missouri leagues have to be full right now, right across the river, with Illinois kids who are just looking for an opportunity to play. Just give them the opportunity to play. And honestly, when you consider in all the factors of COVID mitigations that you can employ, at this point, just set the mitigations, set the regulations that you need to employ to make it so these kids can get on the field and get back to some normalcy. Stop taking this away from them. You have no science to back up your decision, Governor Pritzker, because if you did, we'd have it. You'd be stomping on it and on your soapbox about it all the time. Put the kids back in play. Stop blocking them. You're making the wrong decision. We're going to take a quick break and get some reaction to this and welcome Gabe Pfeiffer literally in the studio today. Very excited to have Gabe coming in here in just a minute. So St. John the Philosopher is going to be with us, and we'll have some conversation. And don't forget, in that 2:00 hour, we do an Ask Me Anything. If you've got questions for us, we'd love to answer it, or maybe not, but especially the ones that we don't want to answer, those are the ones I really want to ask. So share them with us on our Facebook Live or the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hey, just walk away. Just walk away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I'm Thomas Helbig, founder of the Retirement Advisory Group. When I meet my clients for the first time, many of them have worked over 90,000 hours and have built up a life savings. Their question is, what can I do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? Not only do we set up a strategy to protect your retirement nest egg from market losses, but we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money. You've earned it, and it's my job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call me now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review, and you'll get a copy of my second edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. This book covers everything I teach in my live educational events. Call me now at 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. Once again, that's 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com.
This past year has shown us the value of parks and the joy and necessity of time outdoors. This holiday season, give the gift of a membership to a timeless treasure, Tower Grove Park. Your membership sustains Tower Grove Park's growing forest, preserves the historic pavilions, and keeps the park welcoming for everyone. This National Historic Landmark Park is truly a unique space for all of St. Louis. Help keep Tower Grove Park beautiful. Become a member at towergrovepark.org.
Regardless of where you're at in life, a college degree is more than a piece of paper, more than a line on a resume. It should take you further than just your next job. Missouri Baptist University takes you places other online programs can't because MBU opens minds and hearts as well as doors. With 15 online bachelor's and graduate degree programs, MBU offers progressive, faith-based education that meets the highest standards and the demands of your busy schedule. At MBU, you'll do more than work that checks the boxes. You'll hone your thinking and leadership skills and develop the kind of work ethic employers want and entrepreneurial success demands. Are you ready for something more? Find your light at Missouri Baptist University. Visit mobap.edu and shine on.
Find your light in 2021 through Missouri Baptist University. Missouri Baptist University is now waiving standardized tests for spring and fall 2021 admission. Learn more about online undergraduate and graduate programs at mobap.edu and shine on.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
If we learned anything in 2020, it's that life is unpredictable. There are some things that you just can't control. All the more reason why you need to appreciate and hold tight those special people in your life. That relationship you know you can count on no matter what. At Diamonds Direct, your love is our passion. Your relationship is why we exist, and we stand ready to help you create those memorable moments in 2021 that celebrate and solidify those unbreakable bonds. Our selection of precious rare diamonds has never been greater. From a simple 1-carat princess cut to a breathtaking 10-carat round brilliant, we have your perfect diamond in stock every day at the guaranteed best value price in America. And even in unpredictable times, Diamonds Direct's commitment to you will never waver. We promise the largest selection, the highest quality, the best value, the strongest warranties, and the most unforgettable experience. So as life gets back to normal this new year, remember, cling to the ones you adore by showing them how much they mean to you. And we'll always be here to help. Diamonds Direct.
If it's bumper to bumper or smooth sailing, Sue Thomas has you covered with dependable traffic. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
They won't leave me alone. I need a shadow to hold in the wall. 'Cause baby, I don't know what kind of state I'm in. We got a ways to go. I've been around this whole town by now.
Have a good life.
Little reminder of that voice, which I don't think that I've played that. I don't think I've played anything from President Trump since Joe Biden was inaugurated.
Sure.
I was kind of purposely trying to stay away from it because I want to give Joe Biden the opportunity and his administration to show us who they're going to be. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I have an idea of what it's going to be like, but let me give you 48 hours or at least the rest of the work week here to let your actions speak louder than my words. That's kind of the way that I have been approaching this. There's not really a whole lot. Is there anything that I'm excited about that I've heard? I'm trying to think and I can't come up with anything. But, again, listening to Jen Psaki and the economic director that was on with us not on with us, but doing the press briefing in the noon hour. I want you to hear how those press briefings are going for yourself so that you can make your first judgment on how you feel about it before I tell you how I feel about it. I think that's something that I want to try to do more, which is expose you to the original source of information before we pour into the opinion about it, because then guess what? You get to formulate your own thoughts on it we get to have a discussion about it. We might agree every time, we might disagree every time, or we might be 50-50. But I want you to have that opportunity to consume this information and think on it yourself for a second before we lay into it. I am curious what Gabe Pfeiffer has to think about it.
Yeah, I'm a freaking genius.
Okay, so you're a rocket scientist.
Brilliant! Knowledge is power.
So Gabe Pfeiffer, St. John the Philosopher on YouTube. Thanks for being here. You're in studio today with Kate. It's pretty exciting.
Yes, I love it. And so Katie and I have been talking so much in the breaks.
I know, she's talking to you and not to me. What is up with this?
Well, the thing is, like, when you haven't had time to sit with basically old friends,
Yeah.
you just want to catch up. It's like, oh, what are you thinking now? What am I thinking now? Is hey, what's going on with you?
You guys, I see you. You're just chatting. I'm just sitting here watching, not knowing what you're saying, like everybody else on the live stream.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're happy to have you back. I'm just going to let you just react in general to since Wednesday afternoon, we have a new president of the United States. How you feeling?
Well, I mean, kind of like I said on social media, I'm going to be praying for this guy too. That's the start, at least. That regardless of kind of how you think things went in the 2020 election, I have my doubts, but he's president now, so I'm going to pray for him like I pray for all of our leaders. But at the same time, I'm recognizing where he's coming from, and he's got almost as many executive orders now as he has hours in the presidency. So, and a few of them are not so great, and but it's about as expected. We said he's going to ban fracking, and well, he's banned fracking on federal land. He's cut the XL pipeline, so we've got thousands of lost jobs, and he's put our American energy independence at risk. He's going to raise the cost of everything because fuel goes into everything. So yeah, I mean, and then the $15 minimum wage thing, and that's going to raise costs for things. That's a good way to kill the small businesses that are still struggling to get out from under the lockdown economy. So yeah, we're going to be in for a tough time. But now's the time to double down and to actually fight. And that's actually what my next few videos on my YouTube channel are going to be about. I've just finished the script for the first one, and I'm going to be recording that when I get home today.
Fantastic. Well, you can go to St. John the Philosopher on YouTube, subscribe to Gabe's channel there, and check out his thoughts and opinions. And as he reacts to whatever's going on that tickles his fancy, he's got to get it off his chest. I want to read a couple comments here from the YouTube page, the Annie Frey YouTube channel, which I would also invite you to subscribe to. We're kind of close to 2,000 subscribers. And I will remind you that I have no imminent threats of being shut down or canceled in any capacity on any of our social media platforms, but we are trying to grow all of them in the event we get the hammer that we still have a way to connect with you. And we're pushing 15,000 likes on our Facebook page, and we're pushing 2,000 on the YouTube channel. So if you're up for it and you want to subscribe to us, we'd be very grateful for it, because again, if the day comes where one of those gets shut down, we're going to have to lean on the other, and we want to make sure that we can still connect with you. So Paul on the YouTube channel has 2 comments here. I'm going to read them. If you're born or unborn, aren't certain freedoms and basic human needs required? And he also says, all I know is that people deserve to eat and have access to basic human rights and needs. Heck, I'm libertarian more than anything, but facts are facts. Just want to look forward for perspective. And so there's a bit of a discussion here going on about minimum wage. And I think on the YouTube channel, people are kind of discussing the idea of universal basic income, which is one of the reasons why I love kind of keeping an eye on the chat, especially in the breaks and catching up, because I love the discussions that evolve out of people with differing opinions coming together and talking about these things. But I want to ask you guys about that, the idea of basic human rights and needs and who's responsible for
those
them.
Are different things.
Well, and also, there's a big question mark here, which is, if you have a need, who's responsible for filling that need? And when I look at the United States government, any government, but the United States government, and if I'm looking to them for a solution, I have to remind myself and anybody else having this conversation that the United States government doesn't really have anything. They have no resources. The United States government doesn't own money. They have to take it from somewhere in order to fund all of that. The United States government doesn't control the manufacturing or the products that this country makes. They don't. You know who does? We do. And we make the money making the products, providing the services, and then they say this is our fair share, this is our cut. And then they allocate that accordingly. So Gabe, I just want to get your reaction to that first. Because I think it's an honorable question to say, let's think about basic human needs.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to see anybody go hungry. I don't want to see anybody go without a roof over their head. How do we reconcile in this country the idea that those things aren't so basic that they should be provided from ... What do you think, Gabe?
Well, as I say on my YouTube channel and in other things, I actually have a video specifically about rights. I think it's called "How We Get Rights Wrong," and you might want to check that out. But the hallmark of a solid principle on which to do anything is that it's universal. That the principle is so basic, it's so concentrated in its thrust and its meaning that you can use it to build an artifice about how to apply it in any situation in any way possible. So the thing is, rights, first of all, rights and needs are different things. I need love. I don't have a right to it. Now, why is that? Why is there a difference there? Because the thing about rights is, at its core, a right, or at least particularly a human right, is one that does not require the action of anyone other than yourself. That's kind of at least partially the best way I can say it right now. It's something that if you were alone on a desert island, these are the things that you would have a right to, or more importantly, rights are only need to be articulated when you have more than one person, because the violation of it is what's in question. So you have two people on this desert island. If I go and I collect a whole bunch of coconuts, I'm providing for my need to eat, my own personal need. I cannot make a demand on the other person to do that. If I do so, it usually has to require force, and that's called slavery. But and here's the other thing. If I collect a whole bunch of coconuts, those are mine. I have personal property rights to those things, the fruits of my labor.
Animal Crossing?
I don't know.
You're just describing my entire island in Animal Crossing, which this conversation is going to be relevant to probably 14 people in our listening
there you
audience.
go.
But you're collecting coconuts on my island. I mean,
there you go. Well, Janet and I are planning our renewal of vows and a honeymoon after, and we're talking about tropical. So I guess my mind's on islands.
There you go.
But
you can talk about that for the rest of the show. Take me to that happy place. I am ready.
But
to put the sunnies on and go.
So the thing is, if I have a pile of coconuts, I have property rights associated with those because I have put labor into acquiring them. Yeah. If somebody comes along and tries to take one, even though he's trying to fulfill his need for food, he is violating my right to the property, and the property is the fruit of my labor. He's stealing my labor. I keep going back to the slavery thing because that's kind of at the root of it. When you take somebody's labor, you're trying to make them a slave for that period of time.
One might call it a lovely bunch of coconuts.
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
It's D-D-D, I think. And I know that from Zazu in Lion King.
My deepest apologies.
Zazu.
Real quick, in the scene in The Lion King where Scar is singing, or that song is
he's
being
making
sung,
him sing,
and he's got a skull in that's singing back to him. I just saw this thing on social media, which means it's absolutely true.
It's an antelope.
They're suggesting that's Mufasa's skull.
No, I thought it was an antelope skull.
I like your idea better, but go back. I've seen the diagrams of skulls comparing a lion's skull.
Is it a lion's skull?
I don't know.
Oh gosh, now
I really want to think
Why do you
that
people
Scar
make me
didn't
jump
go
into
eat
YouTube
Mufasa and then play with his skull, because that's the
I'm going
darkest
in.
thing that Disney
Well,
has ever done. I want to ask you real quick,
nature is metal.
Ryan, to react to what Gabe was saying. What do you think about it?
Yeah, well, he was kind of approaching it. we would agree on this. I think he was approaching it from the top down. I would approach it from the bottom up and say that as much as I love rugged individualism and the American ideal of that, we all, as people, not just Americans, but people, we all need something above us. We all look to something above us to provide our needs. Back to your original question.
We all need somebody to lean on.
We all need somebody. Oh, gosh.
The references.
Songs all over the place.
I was just going to start singing a song. And there are very different ways to approach that, but it's the same need. Same need across the board. We all look to something greater than ourselves to provide for us. And if you don't have God in that spot, you look to government. And it's one of the reasons that our government just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding as the role of God in our society keeps shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, because we need something bigger than us. And you're right, Annie, the government doesn't have any money, but it keeps pretending it does. And we keep looking to the government for all that money. At some point, that money's going to run out.
Christopher says on Facebook, I like that Gabe's example is literally fruits of his labor. And then he also says,
you get it.
Annie Frey show, it is a lion skull. What no one has mentioned yet is that the bird cage is Mufasa's rib cage.
Barf.
It is a rib cage.
Whoa.
See, I'm watching.
We're going
it
to
right
take
now.
a quick break and go to Real or Fake News when we come back and do some really hardcore research. You know who could get to the bottom of this? I think that this would be a good question for Jen Psaki to answer in her next press briefing, because I think that's where we could get some real hard facts on whether or not Scar is a carnivorous. Obviously he is. He's a lion. Cannibalistic? Are you cannibalistic if you eat your own, or just
yes.
Is that just it's just if you eat your own?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I saw that and I was like, I do not want to even permit this in my head, but now I've put it in yours. Let's do some research. We'll be back in just a minute.
I woke up this morning, it was already night. I saw a number on the phone that I don't recognize. I know.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show.
Driving across this land like 10 times now. I see every little corner of it, 2-bit town. I know.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating over 50 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits, and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's St. Louis area attorneys. Online at CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Cordell & Cordell, 600 Kelwood Parkway, Suite 310, Chesterfield, Missouri, 63017.
Root Insurance is all about you and how you drive, which puts you in control. In fact, your driving is the #1 factor we use to give you a better price. Root is different from traditional insurers. By using the sensors in your smartphone, we can understand important details about how you actually drive. Just download the Root app, get on the road, and we'll take care of the rest. The app measures your driving behavior, like turning and braking, and gives you a custom rate based on driving, not your job or education like other insurers. In short, you have the power to control your own rates. And the better you drive, the better your rate. Plus, it's fast and easy. The app walks you through each step so you understand what you're getting and get what's right for you. It's car insurance made for you, in your control. Download the Root app today and see how easy car insurance can be. Disclaimers may apply. See joinroot.com for details.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the home of the bagel loan. And if you're looking to purchase a home right now, you need to reach out to Stewie at 314-324-4440 and get yourself started with a bagel loan process. Now, you can go to, there's everybody's talking to you about low rates. Of course, they're low. They've been low. They could continue to be low for a really long time, or they could shoot up. We don't know what's going to happen, but they are stupid low right now. So low that when I tell you that if your rate is currently on your own home and you are considering doing a refi, if you owe $250,000 and your rate's in the threes, those are the low rates we were advertising or talking about or getting really excited about a year ago. Now, if your rate is in the threes, even if you did this a year ago, call Stewie with the bagel loan, get the process started now, because he charges you no fees to go through this process. There's no fees up front that every other lender out there will charge you. That's the beauty of the bagel loan. That's the entire predicate of Stewart's American Mortgage. He has put you at the center of this. It's the way business should be done. It's personal. It's Stewie's phone number at 314-324-4440. You can Google that bagel loan to see. I am a customer. I am a bagel loan user, and I highly personally recommend it. NMLS number 226715.
Imagine if information came with a nutrition label. Then you'd know if what you're consuming has the right mix of verified facts, credible sources, and relevant context. But news and information doesn't come with a label. It's on us to develop a healthy news diet ourselves. Let's all resolve to strengthen our news literacy so we can make healthier choices about what news and information to consume, share, and act on. Test your news literacy fitness with our quiz at newslit.org. Exercise your right to be well-informed and get Newslit fit.
The Tim Jones Show.
Paris Denard. The American people should be very concerned. There's more evidence about Joe Biden's involvement with foreign entanglement than there ever was as it relates to President Trump.
Tim Jones, Sunday nights at 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy to have you with us here today. And it's taken this long to get through the stack of contract negotiation papers and lawyers and all of the people that stand between somebody as big of a deal as Rob Kramer and our little show to get him back on. And we have one Rob Kramer in. There are three people in the studio right now. Katie is one of them. Woo-hoo! And Rob, hi, how are you?
Hi.
What's going on?
I'm outstanding, still improving. Thank you for asking.
Still.
We don't have Rob's intro. I miss Rob's intro.
Okay, let me get that. Let me just, you know what?
I think we all
just add that to the plate.
Do you want to put the music back
I'm
up?
sorry.
And then
We'll add to the 40,000 things that Katie's currently
So, Gabe,
doing.
now that you're in studio, I'm going to tell you something: is you don't throw to the producer to do something right now.
I'm
There's
sorry.
a lot of like sign language and things that go on in the background.
Yes.
And then
yes.
Katie makes it happen like smooth butter.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
Gabe,
Instead
why don't
of-
you have his intro ready?
Instead of telling her to do that, where she has to say, "Okay, I have to do it right now. And do one more thing. Everything I gotta do right now."
Digital, get down. Hold up. Wait a minute.
You can get this life too if you work hard and stop being bitter and busted.
I don't follow rules. I follow dogs on social media.
So, in part of our contract negotiations was that Rob would not have to prepare anything for his segment.
Yeah, we're starting off the new year a little slow, but don't worry. It's we got a lot of time left in front of us. You know,
You sound like the Biden administration.
patience. Which way am I going with this?
You don't have to comment on that. That's not why you're here.
Real quickly, did you
Mm-hmm.
did you see the little clip of Biden and Dr. Biden walking into, I forget which building it was in DC, and you hear President Biden mutter under his breath,
Salute the Marines.
troops, or salute the Marines. That's right, salute the Marines. Just like somebody's in his ear feeding him everything. Like,
Well, see, when
I
I-
am President Biden.
I am President Biden.
I love lamp.
Not with a question mark, President. I am President Biden.
Oh,
It's getting very confusing.
Okay, you got me with that Anchorman reference because
I love
I'm feeling that I'm
when
feeling
I
that one.
saw that story, it's interesting that you bring this up because that is kind of a digital piece of information. Look at you. You just can't turn it off.
Yeah, just always.
We'll pay you extra for that. When I saw that story, it was suggested that that was because somebody is in his ear with an earpiece telling him what to do as he goes through the process. And it was on Twitter. And I'm like, I need more proof than this tweet that that's actually what's happening. But he could have been saying it to Jill?
Let's just say for a second, let's just assume
She doesn't
that
salute.
he's not wearing the world's smallest Bluetooth like in The Office when
Yes.
Jim and Pam are talking to each other
Yes.
in Scranton and New York.
I don't know The Office, but that sounds about right.
Let's just assume that didn't happen. And let's say he was reminding Dr. Biden, his wife, that, you should salute the Marines. Well, A, she didn't. B, he didn't. And C, don't you think that you shouldn't have to tell your wife on Inauguration Day, okay, when we walk in front of, uniformed military, you might want to give him that little salute. Real quick.
I don't
nod
know
or
that-
something.
Is she supposed to, though? I don't know.
I don't think she's required to. I think he does.
Yeah, I don't know.
For sure, because he is commander
He's the
in chief.
commander. Yeah.
But it's not. Sorry,
there'd
go
be-
ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know that
But he
there would be
didn't.
kind of a
But he didn't.
scuttlebutt when Donald Trump, I remember he'd get off of Marine One and there'd be someone there and he'd always salute. I remember people criticizing him for that, suggesting that since he was not actual military, that he shouldn't be doing that. And people quickly clap back. They're like, he is the commander in chief.
Yes.
And it's absolutely okay for him to do that. And it's good. So, and then I remember people going back and saying the same thing about Obama as well. But I don't think that Jill Biden has a responsibility to do it. So to your point, Rob, why did he say that out loud?
Maybe he's reminding himself.
Right. And
Out
then he forgets. He
forgets to do it.
immediately
Yeah.
forgets to
Which,
do
yeah.
it.
There's no real
he
good
has
way
no
of
earpiece. Those are just the voices in his head.
Those are- yes.
Salute
and we can
salute
hear
the
them.
There's
Now
no
let's
real-
do, let's do a little
crap, I
real or
forgot
fake
to
news. Katie, do you have one? Do you want to go
There
off
we go.
off the top?
Sure.
Wait, Gabe, how did she do on that? Was that good?
Oh,
or
this
did
is fine.
she-
Easy peasy.
Did she pick up the
There's a bit of
No, by the
I'm
end
gonna
of
be-
today, I want everyone to say one criteria about my
Your
skills.
production skills.
Well, wait till
Say
Tony
one-
Colombo gets in.
Yeah, God, he's a list already created. So
I'm sorry, Katie. I love you.
I'm just kidding.
I
You know what? I have to say, I am so happy to have two people back in the studio with me. This is very nice. I was just telling
Energy.
Gabe, I miss our Fridays, all of us together in the studio, getting buck wild, being stupid. I miss
Breathing
it.
the same air.
Yes, definitely that part. So my real or fake is so there means people wanted total transparency, and then they got what they wanted and realized they really couldn't handle it.
He really wanted
None.
Olaf's warm hugs.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my real or fake.
Yeah, I think so. But I would say at the same time that transparency, if you don't like the result of what you're hearing being transparent, then you're probably not going to like it. People just want to hear what they want to hear. I mean, there are only a few people in your life that you actually want an honest opinion from. Even when you say honest opinion, then you ask them a question. There are only a couple, maybe two, maybe three people in your life that you can handle the unvarnished truth from. And the American people are never going to get the unvarnished truth from any administration. Like I was saying off air before with Jen Psaki, any good press secretary answers very few questions, but says true things. You just don't answer the question. You pivot and you say something else that's true that they can't bust you on. And you just have to be resilient. We did see Sarah Sanders. I think Ryan called them American gladiators before. I thought that was a good reference. What do you think? What do you think, Ryan?
I think that people do want transparency. So I'm not going to say fake news. Well, depending on, you said people don't actually want, so I guess real news. But I think that they just want other things more. Like they're actually willing to sacrifice transparency for
They want
an agenda.
confirmation.
Yes, pretty much the same thing as you said, Annie. Just more well put in my words, I would say.
I'm gonna go fake news on that. What do you think, Gabe?
I'm actually gonna go real news on this. We were kind of talking about that already, but
Pre-gamers.
it's kind of like learning how the sausage is made, right?
Yeah,
you know,
not
it's
pretty.
one thing. It's like, you know, if you're sitting to a plate of breakfast, you know, you got the maple syrup dripping off the pancakes onto the sweet sausage there. Oh, it's so
I'm
good,
starving.
right? And then, but then you take a peek
He's like,
inside the
breakfast,
factory,
really?
not even the whole thing, just a portion of the factory, and we're like, is this how this really happens? And you're grossed out, at least for a little while.
Yeah, you're still eating the
until you
sausage
go
with
until you
maple
go back to dinner.
Yeah.
So I think Trump pulled back the curtain a little bit, and I've talked about this. The naked politics basically is what had in the Trump era, where he's an arrogant, egotistical, sort of self-centered. It's like, yeah, that's all presidents.
It's just the way it manifests itself out and for people to see.
If you think everybody else is dumb except me, I need to rule the planet. If you're going for the presidency, there's some measure of that in you.
Rob, how many people in your life do you allow to give you the unvarnished truth? Or do you just know the unvarnished
That's a
truth?
loaded way of asking that question, I feel like, because as a married man,
I want honesty from my wife.
If my wife was listening right now, I don't think she would say I let her do anything. She is her own woman in person. Exactly.
Well, I think it's time to let you know that Ryan Wiggins gives his wife an allowance. So,
and haven't changed that even after the shame I've endured on this show.
That's why we're still shaming you.
That's right.
Shame. I have a bell
Good
in
for
my
you.
office.
I
can
get
walk
unvarnished
around.
truth from my host here.
That's why I'm here.
That's great. Love that.
Do you have people in your life that you go to get it straight, Rob, to get the straight opinion from people? Or
I think that's the funny thing. Yes and no, because I go to some people and ask their opinion, and I know they're going to cherry top it a little bit, right? And that's okay because they're going to give you that half truth, but they're going to have a little bit of an extra lacquer on top of it, to smooth things out.
That's the Katie Fitzpatrick method.
That is 100%. And do you know why? Why? Because people can't handle the truth.
No, and she knows it.
I can handle it, but Katie, you still put a cherry on top each and every time.
You just said there's 2 or 3 people, Annie. I'm one of the 3 people in your life that you can handle.
I'm one of the 3 people.
You're one of probably 2 people, Katie,
that
in my life that I would trust to give me that I would give the opportunity to give me an honest answer.
I know your dad's the other one.
No, with my husband. Are you kidding? Ryan, real quick, you got a real or fake? We'll breeze through this. Katie will get an extra
Annie
minute.
has to answer this one last, actually. I
Oh.
put some Christmas gifts on Annie's porch today. Does she even know it right now? Don't look at the screen.
Rob will
Do you
go
think
first.
Yeah, Rob will go first.
Rob will go first. Hi, me.
Is it your wife's allowance?
I'm going to say fake because I feel like somebody would have noticed a flaming bag of poop on her front stoop by about now.
It's
And
poop again.
somebody would have called it or something. So I'm going fake.
I'm going to say real news. Annie has no idea it was there.
No, she has no
It's
idea.
real or fake, and he asked a yes or no question.
The answer is she has
So
no
I'm
clue.
going to say fake news to just the foundation of your question. And we're going to go to break right now. Rob, great to see you. Gabe and Katie are going to stick around, and I am going to go check my porch. So, no, I did not know that. I hope it's not poop again.
Yeah, it's been on fire for a long time. So.
This is the best day of my life.
Kind of rude of my neighbors not even to say anything.
Yeah, your whole front yard's gone.
Oh my gosh. All right, Morning Fry Show probably in a minute.
I busted up my knee in Afghanistan, jumping out of a helicopter. I flew back to the States for surgery. I pushed myself to the max and busted it up again. I was told a medical discharge was an option. Then I had surgery at Mizzou BioJoint Center.
To see if MU Healthcare's Mizzou BioJoint Center is right for you, visit biojoint.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Puppies have been really hard to come by because, let's face it, demand is up. Mark Cox here. If you've been waiting to add a new furry member to your family this holiday, visit my friends at Petland. We're all home more right now, which makes this a great time to get a Petland puppy. The owners, Tom and Jeff, have amazing relationships. They can offer the best selection of puppies in Missouri. That's Petland at 6131 Ronald Reagan Drive in Lake St. Louis. Go to petlandstl.com.
Menards is your complete plumbing headquarters. Save on over 300 kitchen and bath faucets from Moen in the store and on menards.com. Moen faucets give you a lifetime of beauty, reliability, and innovative features. Moen products are built to last. Save big on all the latest styles and finishes of Moen faucets. Now at Menards. Savings are good until January 31st.
Save big money at Menards.
Del Wumsley explains how he found that speck of light that got him into the lifestyle.
I had a guy that used to come into the health club every day and work out for 4 hours a day, sit in the jacuzzi, swim, play racquetball, was happy, looked great, tan all the time. And one day I just asked him, what do you do for a living? And he said, Del, I own real estate.
Well, do you own real estate? Register for our live online free workshop and find out how you can get all the things you want out of life with passive income. Register at lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com. Brought to you by Lifestyles.
KFTK FM Florissant, K254CR St. Louis, driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk, a radio.com station.
What went wrong? I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The White House says the CDC will investigate why some areas have run out of COVID-19 vaccine, while others haven't been able to administer all of the doses they received. This as the president signs more COVID-related executive orders, directing his cabinet to offer some forms of economic relief where possible without Congress.
These actions are not a substitute for comprehensive legislative relief. But they will provide a critical lifeline to millions of families.
National Economic Council Director Brian Deese says the steps include increasing food stamp and supplemental assistance benefits. There's no word of any movement in Congress yet on the president's proposed stimulus bill. President Biden also calling for a closer look at domestic terrorism after the recent attack on the Capitol. The FBI, Homeland Security, and intelligence officials will lead a risk assessment. Some in Congress already proposing legislation.
This week, 9 lawmakers introduced the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2021. It's a measure to create new offices, at least for the next 10 years, at Homeland Security, the Justice Department, and the FBI to monitor, investigate, and prosecute cases of domestic terrorism. We heard from Illinois Congressman Brad Schneider, who says, quote, America must be vigilant to combat those radicalized to violence, and the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act gives our government the tools to identify, monitor, and thwart their illegal activities. But 135 civil rights groups fear creating a new domestic terrorism charge could backfire and end up hurting minority communities instead of rooting out white supremacists.
Fox's Mark Meredith, some Republicans are accusing Democrats of trying to target millions of Trump supporters as insurgents. The Texas Attorney General suing the Biden administration over a pause in deportations, calling it perilous, seeking a temporary restraining order. The 100-day pause, the White House says, is part of a review of current immigration policies. America is listening to Fox News.
Bria's fashion boutique is the worst. First, they asked me if I needed help finding anything. Just because I'm gorgeous doesn't mean I need help.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Then they tell me they're having a sale. Oh, so you're assuming I'm poor. Cool.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Also, they tried to give me the friends and family discount. I'm not your friend, so...
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Plenty of sunshine with us on this Friday. A couple of passing clouds. 38, 39 for most of us. The city about 42. Tonight, clear and very cold. 18 degrees. Saturday's dry. 38. Sunday, clouds. It's It's going to be a couple of showers. 45 degrees will do it for the high on Sunday, but also a lot of dry time. We're wet Sunday night, Monday into Monday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Presented to you by KFC. Tired after a long day of working and taking care of the kids? Take the night off and let KFC do the home cooking for you. Pick up a $20 fill-up today. Order ahead or use contactless delivery on KFC.com.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, and fine watches. Bring your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. That's 314-752-5000. So if you need some extra cash, looking for that one-of-a-kind piece, make Jewels on Hampton your first stop. Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills.
I'm listening daily. You are not alone. During these challenging times, listening is fundamental to promoting understanding and healing. Here's licensed therapist Dr. Bhuvana Rao on ending the stigma of talking about mental health.
I think in our society, we have focused so much on, the physical well-being. It's a very image-focused society. And so if there are things that people are experiencing that have to do with mental illness, then those are typically stigmatized. Our society has tended to stigmatize mental health issues in general. So this is something that we really want to emphasize and encourage in the field of behavioral health. There should be no shame in talking about how you're feeling. Your emotional wellness is as, if not more, important than your physical well-being.
Talk has the power to save lives, and you are not alone. Find out more at imlistening.org.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax resolution attorney to help you. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You can ask your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk for information with perspective. Although you don't have to say all the tagline stuff. Just say, play 97.1 FM Talk. Powered by Dell Technologies. Call 877-ASK-DELL. The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Forensic IT, the tech experts that find the root cause of your technical problems. ForensicIT.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy Friday. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Right now, President Biden is speaking from the White House, and he has some more executive orders that he is about to sign. They are economic measures, and we're going to listen in at this moment in time, and we'll come back and react here with Gabe and Ryan and Katie and myself when he is finished. But the latest of executive orders with President Biden. Katie, let's listen
in modern history. And the crisis is only deepening. It's not getting better, it's deepening. Yesterday, we learned that 900,000 more Americans file for unemployment. 900,000. They join millions of Americans who, through no fault of their own, have lost the dignity and respect that comes with a job and a paycheck. So many of them never thought they'd ever be out of work in the first place. And just like my dad did when he used to lie awake at night when I was a kid, staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep because he worried about whether or not he was about to lose his health care or whether we were going to have the money to pay the mortgage because of the economic circumstance he was in. And now a lot of these folks are facing eviction, are waiting hours in their cars, literally hours in their cars, waiting to be able to feed their children as they drive up to a food bank. It's the United States of America. And they're waiting to feed their kids. Folks who are able to still keep their job, many have seen their paychecks reduced and they're barely hanging on and wondering what's next. Sometimes the anxiety about what's going to happen next is more consequential than what actually happened. But this is happening today in America. And this cannot be who we are as a country. These are not the values of our nation. We will not let people go hungry. We cannot let people be evicted because of nothing they did themselves. They cannot watch people lose their jobs, and we have to act. We have to act now. It's not just to meet the moral obligation to treat our fellow Americans with the dignity and respect they deserve. This is an economic imperative, a growing economic consensus that we must act decisively and boldly to grow the economy for all Americans, not just for tomorrow, but in the future. There's a growing chorus of top economists that agree that at this moment of crisis, with the interest rates as low as they are, historic lows, it is smart fiscal investment, including deficit spending, and they're more urgent than ever. And that return on these investments in jobs and racial equity is going to prevent long-term economic damage and benefits that are going to far surpass their cost. If we don't act, the rest of the world is not standing still in terms of their competitive advantage or the competitive possibilities relative to us. That our debt situation will be more stable and not less stable, according to these economists, and that such investments in our people is going to strengthen our economic competitiveness as a nation and help us outcompete our competitors in the global economy, because we're going to grow the economy with these investments. While the COVID-19 package that passed in December was a first step, as I said at the time, it's just a down payment. We need more action, and we need to move fast. Last week, I laid out a two-step plan of rescue and recovery to get through the crisis and to a better and stronger and more secure America. The first step of our American Rescue Plan is a plan to tackle the pandemic and get direct financial relief to Americans who need it the most. In just a few days, it's just been a few days since I outlined this plan. It's received bipartisan support from a majority of American mayors and governors. Businesses and labor organizations have together welcomed it as an urgent action that's needed. Even Wall Street firms have underscored its importance. In fact, an analysis by Moody's estimates that if we pass our American Rescue Plan, the economy would create 7.5 million jobs just in this year alone. That would be on the way to the more than 18 million, I think it was 18,600,000 jobs that they believe would be created over the 4-year period with our Build Back Better recovery plan. And with our American Rescue Plan, our economy would return to full employment a full year faster than without the plan. Even President Trump's now, not some liberal organization, President Trump's top former economic advisor, Kevin Hassett, said, quote, he absolutely is in favor of this rescue plan. This almost doesn't have a partisan piece to it. We're seeing the support because this plan takes a step that we so urgently need, more than just a step, number of steps. It funds big parts of the COVID-19 national strategy that we released yesterday. Our national strategy puts us on a war footing to aggressively speed up our COVID-19 response, especially on vaccines and testing and reopening our schools. I found it fascinating. Yesterday, the press asked the question, is, 100 million enough? Week before, they're saying, Biden, you crazy? You can't do 100 million in 100 days. Well, we're going to, God willing, not only do 100 million, we're going to do more than that. But we have to do this. We have to move. The American Rescue Plan also includes economic relief for most Americans who are in need. We're going to finish the job of getting a total of $2,000 in direct payments to folks. $600, which was already passed, is simply not enough. If you still have to choose between paying your rent, putting food on the table. We'll extend unemployment insurance benefits for millions of workers beyond the deadline that's now set. It means that 16 million Americans who are currently relying on unemployment benefits while they look for work can count on these checks continuing to be there in the middle of this crisis. The American Rescue Plan also addresses the growing housing crisis in America. Approximately 14 million Americans, 14 million, have fallen behind on rent, and many risk eviction. If we fail to act, there will be a wave of evictions and foreclosures in the coming months as this pandemic rages on, because there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months. So look, this would overwhelm emergency shelters, increase COVID-19 infections as people have nowhere to go and can't socially distance. The American Rescue Plan asks Congress to provide rental assistance for millions of hard-hit families and tenants. This will also be a bridge to economic recovery for countless mom and pop landlords who can't afford not to have the rent, but they can't wait. So on Inauguration Day, I directed my administration to extend nationwide restrictions on evictions and foreclosures. These crises are straining the budgets of states and cities and tribal communities that are forced to consider layoffs and service reductions among essential workers. Police officers, firefighters, first responders, nurses, they're all at the risk of losing their jobs. Over the last year, more than 600,000 educators have lost their jobs in cities and towns. The American Rescue Plan will provide emergency funding to keep these essential workers on the job and maintain essential services. Look, it will also help small businesses that are the engines of our economic growth. When you say small business, most people think the major corporate entities are the ones that hire everybody. These small businesses are the glues that hold, and they're important, but these small businesses hold the community, the glue that hold these communities together. They are hurting badly, and they account for nearly half of the entire U.S. workforce. Nearly half. Our rescue plan will provide flexible grants to help the hardest hit small businesses survive the pandemic, and low-cost capital to help entrepreneurs of all backgrounds create and maintain jobs, plus provide essential goods and services that communities so desperately depend on. Look, our recovery plan also calls for an increase in the minimum wage at least $15 an hour. No one in America should work 40 hours a week, making below the poverty line. $15 gets people above the poverty line. We have so many millions of people working 40 hours a week, working, and some with 2 jobs, and they're still below the poverty line. Our plan includes access to affordable child care. That's going to enable parents, particularly women, to get back to work. Millions who are not working now because they don't have that care. All told, the American Rescue Plan would lift 12 million Americans out of poverty and cut child poverty in half. That's 5 million children lifted out of poverty. Our plan will reduce poverty in the Black community by 1/3, and reduce poverty in the Hispanic community by almost 40%. I look forward to working with members of Congress of both parties to move quickly to get this American Rescue Plan to the American people. And then we can move with equal urgency and bipartisanship to the second step of our economic plan, to Build Back Better, the recovery plan. It's a plan that's going to make historic investments in infrastructure, manufacturing, innovation, research and development, and clean energy, and so much more that's going to create millions more jobs, good paying jobs, not minimum wage jobs. Well, while we work with members of both parties in the Congress, there are steps that we can and must take right now. For example, on Inauguration Day, I directed my administration to pause student loan repayments for interest for the interest payments for Americans with federal student loans until at least September. So they're not going to have to pay till September. They still pay the bill as it stands now, but they will not accrue interest, and they don't have to begin to pay until September. And we may have to look beyond that, I might add. Today, I'm signing an executive order that directs the whole of government, a whole of government effort to help millions of Americans who are badly hurting. It requires all federal agencies to do what they can do to provide relief to families, small business, and communities. And in the days ahead, I expect agencies to act. Let me touch on two ways these actions can help change Americans' lives. We need to tackle the growing hunger crisis in America. 1 in 7 households in America, 1 in 7, more than 1 in 5 Black and Latino households in America report they do not have enough food to eat. That includes nearly 30 million adults and as many as 12 million children. And again, they're in this situation through no fault of their own. It's unconscionable. The American Rescue Plan provides additional emergency food and nutrition assistance for tens of millions of children and families to address this crisis. But families literally can't wait another day. As a result of the executive order I'm going to shortly sign, the Department of Agriculture will consider taking immediate steps to make it easier for the hardest hit families to enroll and claim more generous benefits in the critical food and nutrition assistance area. This is going to help tens of millions of families, especially those who can't provide meals for their kids, who are learning remotely at home, are not receiving the regular meal plans that they have at school for breakfast or lunch. We also need to protect the health and safety of the American worker. Right now, approximately 40% of households in America have at least one member with a pre-existing condition. Just imagine, you're out of work through no fault of your own. You file for unemployment while you're looking for a job. You find one, and you get an offer. But then you find out there's a high risk of you getting infected with COVID-19 because of your condition. You and your loved ones have ever even greater risk of death and serious illness because of the pre-existing conditions. So you turn it down. Right now, if you did that, you could be denied unemployment insurance because you're offered a job, you didn't take it. It's wrong. No one should have to choose between their livelihoods and their own health or the health of their loved ones in the middle of a deadly pandemic. Because of the executive order I'm about to sign, I expect the Department of Labor to guarantee the right to refuse employment that will jeopardize your health. And if you do so, you'll still be able to qualify for the insurance. That's a judgment the Labor Department will make. Look, there are just two consequential ways that the action I'm taking today will help people in need. Another way to help approximately 2 million veterans maintain their financial footing by pausing federal collections on overpayments and debts. Another makes sure that federal contractors who are receiving taxpayers' dollars provide their workers with the pay and benefits they deserve. These are places where federal tax dollars are administered, are being made available to build things from ships to staircases. And the federal government lets the contract, and we're going to make sure that they buy American and are made in America. And here's another. Right now, there are up to 8 million people that are eligible for direct payments from the CARES Act and a relief bill passed in December. They're entitled to those payments, but there's not an easy way for those folks to access them. So we're making it a priority today to fix that problem and get them relief they're entitled to. Look, I'm going to close and summarize this way. A lot of America is hurting. The virus is surging. We're 400,000 dead, expected to reach well over 600,000. Families are going hungry. People are at risk of being evicted. Job losses are mounting again. We need to act. No matter how you look at it, we need to act. If we act now, our economy will be stronger in both the short and long run. That's what economists left, right, and center are telling us. Both liberal and conservative will be better and stronger across the board. If we act now, we'll be better able to compete with the world. If we act now, we'll be better able to meet our moral obligations to one another as Americans. I don't believe the people of this country just want to stand by and watch their friends, their neighbors, coworkers, fellow Americans go hungry, lose their homes, or lose their sense of dignity and hope and respect. I don't believe that, especially in the middle of a pandemic that's so weakened and wreaked so much havoc and caused so much pain on America. That's not who we are. The bottom line is this: we're in a national emergency. We need to act like we're in a national emergency. So we've got to move with everything we've got. And we've got to do it together. I don't believe Democrats or Republicans are going hungry and losing jobs. I believe Americans are going hungry and losing their jobs. We have the tools to fix it. We have the tools to get through this. We have the tools to get this virus under control and our economy back on track. We have the tools to help people. So let's use the tools, all of them. Use them now. So I'm going to sign this executive order, but let me conclude again by saying, folks, this is one of the cases where business, labor, Wall Street, Main Street, liberal, conservative economists know we have to act now, not only to help people who are in need now, but to allow us to be in a competitive position worldwide and be the leader of the world economy in the next year and 2 and 3 and going forward. So thank you. I'm going to sign this executive order.
President Joe Biden talking about the executive orders that he's signing getting blown up in text messages, DMs, and so on and so forth, and people saying, did he really just say this? Did he just say that? And everything that people are sending me is conflicting. So it's kind of hard to tell. So when we come back, we're going to do Ask Me Anything. And the first question I'm going to ask Ryan Wiggins is for a full summation of what Joe Biden just said. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go
Desire, believe when I say I want it.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
But we are two worlds.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Reach to your heart when you say that I want it.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
It's time for your garage door winter maintenance with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The 26-point tune-up is just $89.95. That's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Trusted by homeowners just like you since 1926. Don't be fooled by others with a similar name. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
The only thing I love more than chocolate is a great deal. So was I ever pleased when I clicked on GoToDobbs.com? Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers has great deals on brand name tires and expert auto service. See for yourself the sweet deals at Dobbs. Click on GoToDobbs.com today.
Hi, I'm Dan for Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Here to share the easiest way to choose your next set of tires. Come to Dobbs. Our expert tire professionals will make your tire buying experience as easy as it should be. We'll work with you to find the best tire that's right for your vehicle, that fits your driving style, at a price that's in line with your budget. And they'll be expertly installed by Dobbs professional tire technicians. Plus, at Dobbs, we have the biggest inventory of the best tire brands, which means you'll get your tires the same day. Best of all, at Dobbs, you'll get your new tires at the lowest price in town, guaranteed. For easy tire buying, make it easy on yourself. Come to Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Have you heard about Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis? He's buying houses for cash. Call Chris today at 314-782-7000. Chris will buy your house for cash and pay you cash up front. Chris will buy houses in any price range and any location in St. Louis Metro. Do you own a house that needs thousands of dollars in repair? Great, because he loves fixing up houses. Do you have a tenant living on your property? Not a problem. Chris will buy your house with a tenant in it. Do you think your property will be difficult to sell? Easy. Chris will provide assistance for any situation. Do you want the best price for your house? Done. He'll beat any offer you have on the table. Remember, if you need cash fast, Chris will pay you cash up front. Call Chris today at 314-782-7000. 314-782-7000. That's 314-782-7000.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. It's a new year, time for a new mortgage. Mortgage interest rates are in the twos, and we are saving our clients hundreds, even thousands of dollars a month with an easy refinance. Whatever your goals are for the new year, let's get it started. How much can you save? Find out now. The 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com.
The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
97.1 will continue to be your source for information with perspective, where St. Louis comes to talk and listen. 97.1 FM Talk. Free and fair.
Explanation of these executive orders would have made more sense if we would have played this song behind it. Yes.
Or done anything else.
We got a $5 on our YouTube channel, a $5 YouTube super chat that says, Annie, I'll double this if you can explain exactly what order he just signed. I'm totally confused. I go to foxnews.com because I'm confused as well. I have like a general idea, but not enough to explain it to you responsibly. Fox News has a headline, "We must act now. POTUS addresses economic crisis, signs executive orders," and I click on it, and it's an article about Biden urge to condemn Portland. So it seems to me like Fox News is confused. All right, real quick. You've got 30 seconds, Ryan. What just went down?
Real report or what? I mean, there was
What
all
did
over
you
the place.
gather? Tell us what you know. Only what you know. Not anything more, nothing less.
I think what I'm reading
I think
is that there were 2 executive orders, although he said, I'm going to go sign this executive order. So I don't know if he knew there were 2, but the 2 are first increasing food stamps, food aid for children who rely on school meals. The second is aimed at expanding protections for federal workers by restoring collective bargaining rights and promoting $15 minimum wage. I think that just applies to federal workers, though.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, like maybe to everything Ryan just said.
Maybe, yeah, because this is from before his speech. This is from his team. So
I don't know. Here's what I want you to do. Go to facebook.com/Annie Frey Show. Watch us on the Facebook Live here now. But if you like the page, the second that I find a good article that explains what just went down, I will share it with you. But I have yet to do that. We do ask me everything. We don't have that kind of time.
Explain everything.
It's ask me anything.
If you have anything to ask me, just go ahead.
I want the truth. Say it.
Thank you for your honesty.
You can't handle the truth. And the truth shall set you free.
I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say thank you to Ryan for the cosmic brownies, the dips. There's some dips, the stuff that he gave me, mixers or whatever, and some Mickey and Minnie socks that I'm going to be wearing here very shortly. It's a good Christmas gift. I appreciate that. Cosmic brownies are going to go hidden in my studio down here, and I'm going to keep them away from my children, and hopefully they don't know about it. My question to the room is, if you were to hide a snack for yourself, what would that snack be?
Ooh.
Anybody can go first. Mine's cosmic brownies currently.
It's
Go ahead,
Gabe.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it involves peanut butter and chocolate, but it could be any combination thereof. Usually some Reese's thing, and that's going in my secret hiding spot, which I'm not going to announce because my wife listens.
Katie, go ahead because my answer is probably going to be the best. So
okay, perfect. I would say
milk.
I would hide
pour my milk in my drawer.
some kind of candy bar, probably like a Snickers. Or something along those lines.
I like how Katie has it. When I'm talking about hiding candy, she talks about one Snickers.
Yeah,
like
maybe
Katie's hiding spot.
Katie,
Katie's probably has in her hiding spot one fun size.
Yeah,
Snickers.
I was gonna say it won't be a king size.
Break drawer in case of emergency.
Some kind of Twix.
No, it's that 1 pound, pound one that they come out with.
Yeah,
think of something that
Ryan had a drawer with that in it.
He did.
Before. All right, Ryan, what do you got?
Drawer fell through. Okay, so here's the truth. I've got 2 drawers in my basement that are full of candy all the time, and my kids have found those out, and my wife has too. So I had to create a third separate drawer that's in a different part of the house that they don't know about. So I have to load the 2 that they
What's
think.
hidden?
Oh gosh! Right now, fruit snacks, gummy bears, gummy Crayolas. I don't know why I have those.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, they were a leftover Halloween treat. There's a couple of Snickers Christmas trees still in there. Those are going fast. And so I have to load the 2 drawers with things that I know they're going to root through and think that I don't know that they're doing that. And then keep the really good stuff for the 3rd drawer.
Cute.
But I know they're not listening right now, so it's okay.
Katie, what's your question?
If you could spend an hour with someone who has passed away, famous person, family member, who would you bring back to spend that hour with?
I would bring. It would be a tough choice between my paternal grandmother and my paternal grandfather. My grandma, I grew up next to her. She's the one who is from Australia, and she passed away when I was 18 in college. And it's very interesting to be in my mid-30s, my mid-30s with 3 kids and 1 on the way. She never got to know my husband. She never got to know her great-grandkids, of course. But she just lived an amazing life, and I would like to speak with her again, but from the adult experience that I've had in life, and really listen to her. I remember when she was getting older, I remember sitting down purposely asking her questions that I wanted to just burn into my memory so I could have it. And as much as you intend to do that stuff, sometimes it just doesn't stick. I just would really love to sit down. And plus, she had an Australian accent, and I would love to hear that again. What do you think, Ryan?
I would probably pick a biblical figure. It'd be hard to pick Jesus because he's alive. So I don't know if I could choose him, but I would pick maybe Peter, somebody who is like really close to Jesus, just ask him questions about him. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. What do you think, Gabe?
That sounds pretty cool. Now, barring family members, I don't know, because that one's just, it's kind of obvious to me because I lost my dad not too long ago. So I'm just like, if I could have another hour with my dad,
Love it.
you know, but I would like to talk to Frederick Douglass. Because he was a former slave, he was an abolitionist. Like that period of time must have been very interesting from a political standpoint. I'm just kind of curious how he navigated Washington, D.C. in the 1800s, when things were really weird.
What about you, Katie?
Gandhi. I'd bring back Gandhi.
Oh.
I need some peace and tranquility and some mindfulness in my life. And I think I could learn a lot from that guy in 1 hour, and it would be very beneficial and helpful for like mental health and stuff.
Gabe, you got a question?
What area of public life do you think COVID has permanently changed? Like
Working.
it's not going to come back
The way
the
we
same
work.
way. Yeah.
I think the way we all work. I think that when you're working from home, I think businesses are very quickly seeing any corners that they can save dollars, and that speaks. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that we will never go back to the fully on location workforce that we had before. Katie, what do you think?
I would say this is small, but I think that since it was a job creator, someone cleaning off the carts at the grocery store, I don't think we'll ever not have someone like that now, since it's someone that that's like the only thing coronavirus created in like a job wise. So
right,
like,
a whole industry.
Yeah. So I
wonder if it will continue to be like provided by the grocery store, or if they'll cut corners there too, and you will just bring your own, like if we will be more conscious about our
Sanitizing.
surroundings. Yeah. But definitely like you think about touching stuff now, or if you see old TV shows or movies and people are standing they played a clip of Joe Biden in 2019 talking to somebody at some conference, and he like was sitting across like a 3-foot wide table. Somebody asked him a question. He like put his hands on the middle of the table and leaned in. I was like, 6 feet, dude. I don't care if there's no pandemic. It was so uncomfortable to see, but you start to notice those things.
Well,
what do you think, Ryan?
Mine's a close talker, so.
I would say the expansion of emergency powers. I don't see us returning back to using them just for short periods of time and legit momentary emergencies. I think we're just going to see that continue to balloon and people abuse that power.
Ryan, you got a real quick question before we wrap?
Real quick, would you guys, do you think that TV was better when it was in its heyday, or do you think streaming is better? Like as far as quality content goes,
You're
which
talking
do
about
you think is better?
Platforms, what's provided on platforms, not like the era.
Well, do you think that there was better content when TV was in its heyday, let's say like mid 2000s, versus now on streaming? Do you find that there's better content now?
I'd say it's hard for me to judge because what I was watching then is way different than what I'm watching now, just because I'm grown. But I would say that there's anything out there for you right now. And I'm watching streaming some amazing shows. And the streaming experience is just so much better than sitting through commercials and watching an hour full of TV with 35 minutes of content. What do you think, Gabe?
I think production quality has for sure gone up, obviously, but I can't necessarily say that the writing quality has gotten so much, but at least with the top shows back in the day, it's just kind of like, it's like, man, I remember seeing that show and I couldn't wait for the next week. Now you binge a whole season and you're like, okay, that was great, but
the binge.
I don't know, it's a tough call for me. But I'll say today's, if with the combination of the good production and the good writing, it's just kind of like it's all kinds of great.
Ryan, real quick, what do you think?
I actually would say TV about 10 years ago was producing more bigger good content, especially network TV. And really, at this point, I'm watching commercials on most of my streamings anyway. So I'm kind of like, well, the benefit of that was good at some point, but I don't anymore.
I've noticed I'm more accepting of commercials in my streaming, but the breaks are not as long. You don't have to.
True.
You don't have to sit through an hour to watch, like I said, 42 minutes of content or whatever. But I'm okay with watching an ad. Lord knows that's how I feed my family here. Speaking of, we're gonna take a quick break, and when Tony Colombo, when we come back, Tony Colombo is gonna be back in the studio. Hey. So ridiculous. Yeah. Chris on Facebook was upset that we weren't talking about the executive orders and the big government action that was just taking place, and we were talking about where we hide our candy instead. I'm just gonna be honest with Chris and anyone else who's concerned. I don't know what to tell you about what Joe Biden just said. I am scouring the internet for a concise report on what just went down, and I will give it to you when I have it. My apologies if that was a disappointing segment for you, but it was pretty fun for me. Tony Colombo with more really important stuff when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get in your comfort zone with 0% financing for 72 months and Carrier Cool Cash rebates on qualifying equipment when you purchase and install a new HVAC system. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com. Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law are the perfect firm for you to reach out to talk about your legal concerns when it comes to elder law concerns, estate planning needs. And, another big one that you need to be thinking about is long-term care planning. It is so expensive to stay in a nursing home or to have some sort of long-term care. They know about this. They understand it. They know how to prepare you right now to make sure that you can afford it, that the people who are going to help have to make decisions for you at that time can make the decisions that you want them to make. It's an easy conversation to have right now because the result of it is peace of mind. It's knowing that you've taken care of something that is going to be, done with your will, with your expectations. They're going to listen to you and guide you through the whole process. And these are the very, very best at doing that. Reach out to Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, and Carolyn Diker today. You can go online to beckelderlaw.com, click the book a call button for a free consultation, or you can just call them right now at 636-946-7899. That website, beckelderlaw.com.
The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, The Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins.
Listen to The Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Spectrum Mobile is the fastest growing mobile provider in the nation. It's easy to see why millions have chosen a better way to mobile. With Spectrum Mobile, there are no contracts and no added fees. Even nationwide 5G is included at no extra cost. Switch today and you could save big. Grab your current mobile bill and use the Spectrum Mobile Savings Calculator to see how much you can save. Go to spectrummobile.com/saving today. Spectrum Internet required based on Q2 2020 subscriber data. Services not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
If you've listened to 97.1 FM Talk, you have heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple on the station as the financial expert for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend on 97.1 FM Talk, and in case you miss any of those shows, on his podcast on radio.com. That's radio.com, and search Safe Money 97.1. So call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DH Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Hello, everybody. Sean Rimmerman here with Comfort Care Home Care St. Louis and your host every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 97.1 FM Talk for We're Having a Senior Moment. Join us this week as we talk all about getting back into the gym and physical therapists and physical therapy as we talk with Beth Templin of House Fit St. Louis. Again, join us this Saturday on 97.1 FM Talk for We're Having a Senior Moment.
Get your engagement ring your way. Choose from the largest selection of unique ring settings and loose diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
The Randy Tobler Show.
We talked to Colin Wright, a left-leaning evolutionary biologist who says he's closer to conservative Christians than he ever would have imagined. And a look at Joe Biden's first 3 days.
Saturday morning from 6 to 7 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Friday. That's a very exciting thing to say, and I want to keep saying it so I can keep hearing it myself. just to, we called out the big guns, and we got Tony Colombo in here to fully explain the executive orders that Joe Biden just signed. Tony, we're so grateful that you have come in here and are going to break down for us.
Yes, I will.
Go for it. Tell us what happened. Take it away.
Just tell me the title of it, and then I will do my best to try to explain.
He will read back the title to you.
Why don't you just give me a little start?
Yeah,
give me a hint.
Yeah, just
I can guess. Pretty
push
good.
me down the hill a little bit, and I'll get rolling. And I can.
There's no kickstand or training wheels on
I
this
can
one,
make it
Tony.
up with the best of them, right?
I think. Well, never mind. I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah,
I'm trying to take the high road here, but it's very difficult. Did you hear that? Did you hear his delivery?
I did not.
I listened to it, and neither did I. It's very difficult to decipher. It's something that has to do with food stamps and minimum wage, as far as we know. We're going to share the article about what it is here momentarily on the Facebook page. Follow us at Annie Frey Show as well. Let's do Annie, are you okay?
And now it's time to play Is Annie Okay With This?
You okay with me not knowing what the executive order was?
You're not the only one, dude. Literally, the Fox News article that highlights these executive orders being signed links to something asking if Joe Biden's going to take any responsibility for the Portland riots. So it's difficult to pin this down right now, but we'll keep on it. We'll share it when we got it.
There's a whole lot going on right now. It never stops.
So let's do the important stuff.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Sounds good. A 60-year-old woman in Huron, Ohio. I don't know why I said it like that.
Was that the Ohio accent?
Huron,
It's
Ohio.
the rare Midwestern accent.
Called the police around 1:30 in the morning.
Tony, are you okay?
No. This has been a week for me.
I know.
Oh
We
my
know.
goodness.
And that's just today.
Yeah. Oh, geez. No. Yeah.
Can you say Ohio like that again or
Yeah.
whatever?
A 60-year-old woman in Huron, Ohio, called
It's a
the
very
police
distinguished place.
around 1:30 in the morning one day last week when her neighbor wouldn't stop blasting music. The neighbor is a 40-year-old named Nathan Rock. That's perfect, the name. And when police went to talk to him, he told them that he couldn't turn down the volume because, quote, you can't play Led Zeppelin quietly.
It's the law.
Amen to that.
Hey,
That's what the executive order was.
mean-
Now I understand. I just totally missed that.
He got
Joe
away with
Biden
he got away with a
signs
warning, and they told him if he got another complaint, he'd be charged with disorderly conduct. Don't know if he turned down the music or just stopped the party. But are you okay?
You can't play.
With the "you can't silence rock and roll" defense
From Nate Rock.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, from my many years
Does that
spent
hold up in court?
apartment
Your Honor,
living,
you can't silence rock and roll.
dorm living, there is nothing worse than an obnoxious neighbor that has no concern. Like there's that one, is it a Geico commercial where they're like they say they have a clogging problem and then they show the people above and they're like actually clogging dancers. Like that speaks to my soul. It is a very inventive way. If that has if they gave him a warning and he gets off on with just a warning and it stops, then good on him for being probably spiritually honest about his connection with the Led Zeppelin.
Cannot turn it down.
That doesn't you don't get to do that twice.
Can't play it quietly, man.
Glad we have Gabe in here. I like when we have a scientist to point out if any of this is actually real or
Hold on, I gotta
crap.
go get my lab coat. first.
Gabe, I said.
I'm ready.
Well, okay.
How it goes.
A company in South Korea called Pet Pulse has a new collar that analyzes your dog's barks and translates them into emotions.
People
so it's
willing
not
to
gonna.
pay
It
for
doesn't tell
anything.
you the words your animal is saying, but it tells you the emotions
'Cause
that
they're
they're
not.
feeling. The team behind it say they spent 3 years collecting 10,000 samples from 50 different dog breeds, and it uses AI to evaluate each bark in real time. You pair it with an app on your phone because, of course, you do. And they claim it can detect 5 different emotions: happy, happier, happiest, sad. No, I'm joking. Happy, relaxed, anxious, angry, or sad.
Hi.
Right.
Hi.
Yeah. Happy,
Hi.
happy. I mean, that's what it would sound like.
Sure.
The app is free, but you need the collar to go with it. And you have to buy the collar at Petpool's website. $99 or $108 if you have a bigger dog, which sounds like body shaming to me.
People these days.
Gotta buy 2 plane seats.
Annie, are you okay with an app and your phone telling you how your dog feels?
I mean, it kind of makes me happy that in America, assuming this is an American product, in America, you can create something like this and invest your heart and soul into seeing if you can squander people's money from them for something so silly. I mean, if you nobody's being forced to buy it, so you don't have to buy it. I just don't know who in my life. You can personally message me right now if you're the type of person who would buy this, and then I'll reconsider our relationship.
Ryan,
I don't know. I just, this is ridiculous.
Ryan, all the science stuff check out there?
I mean, scientifically speaking, dogs do wear collars, so yeah.
Hashtag.
Researchers at Texas A&M are working on an implant that could help people lose weight. It uses light to trigger the nerves in your stomach. So
Sounds
you
like a Donald
don't
Trump plan.
Feel hungry.
Light so you don't, what? In your stomach?
Yeah, in your stomach. It uses light, and it's an implant you put in your stomach, and it uses light to trigger nerves in your stomach so you don't feel hungry.
No.
Are you okay with screwing a light bulb into yourself to lose weight?
Are we talking one of those swirly light bulbs, or those are the Obama bulbs?
That is the
What if I
best.
have an Audi?
That is the best way to put that.
Ryan, I'm going to ask Gabe this time if that's all right. Gabe,
Oh, it's fine.
does science
We got
check out on this one for you?
scientists going around.
I'll
He's going to put lights in the belly, and is that going to work?
I build machines. I don't know about body things, but hey, if there's science behind that, that's fascinating. First of all, and second, I don't like
What happens when the light burns out?
Yeah.
When it's
Reminds
just in
me
your
of the-
stomach.
How do you change that bulb?
Hello, baby. Hello, my honey. Scene from Spaceballs. And I don't want to see that take place or know that it's a possibility.
Here's
where
what I know I
you
would
know
do.
where the alien just crawls out of the belly and then does a little tap dance. With
Here's what I know I would do. I would go in the bathroom.
Trying to make Katie throw up. Hold on.
That is like phobia.
I would
Hey,
go
Katie,
in the
I'm just
bathroom
gonna
at
break
night.
this down for you.
Is it real?
I don't know. It
I've
might
always
have
been worried about a thing jumping out of my stomach at a diner.
I don't know. Parasites are a thing.
I would for
Don't order
sure
special.
go into the bathroom at night, turn the lights off, and open my mouth in front of the mirror and see if I could see the lights.
Say Bloody Mary 3 times.
No, I already like. I see the lights. down
Wait,
there?
is it an app? Do you like?
It
I'm
doesn't
feeling
say.
hungry, so I'm going to trigger with the light in my stomach.
It just says an implant in your stomach
don't like
that
the word
uses light to trigger the nerves so you don't feel hungry.
You got
Since
another one
Gabe
real
punted
fast
on
here,
that.
The first cyborgs are going to be.
Yes. I'm just going to go ahead and say no, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah. Here, we'll end on a nice one. This is a nice one.
Aw.
There's a woman who was arrested that spent several days in jail in Vancouver, British Columbia last week. We don't know what she was arrested for or exactly how long she was there, but we know she didn't mind it because when she left, she sent a homemade thank you card to the jail and posted on social media that she enjoyed her stay and gave it 4.5 stars.
Oh.
4.5 stars.
Are you
would
okay
recommend.
with a Siskel and Ebert style prison rating system?
Where did she rate it on Yelp?
She said 4.5 star on her social media.
I'm assuming
There's
it's-
more to the story, but I didn't have time to read it.
I'm assuming a DUI.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good if I would prefer that they rate it terribly, so people would be averse to going to jail. But
She
you
had
know,
a great time.
She had a great time. Good to see you, Tony, Gabe, Ryan, Katie. Thank you so much. DGS coming up next.
So beat the drum.